Win it tonight. 117-101 Bucks back in the series. You thought it was over. You thought we were done. No. No, sir. Come on in the room. And you know what? Because your boy Doc Rivers decided to make some changes to the starting lineup. We're going to say Doc is our doctor. He writes out all of our scriptures. He gives us our medicine in our room. We are live. It's the Cream City crossover Guru Trick on the third.
JT.
Justin.
I'm pumped up. I'm fired up. Bucks in 6. That's how this thing's going to go. Predict it's over. Let me tell you something. It's over. It's over. What Vince Carter said. It's over. It's over. Bucks in 6. Call it done. It has been written, so let it be done. 117-101. I saw what I needed to see, fellas. I saw what I needed to see. They are who we thought they were. They are who we thought they were. We let them off the hook 2 games in Indiana. This series should be 3-0 Milwaukee right now. That's what this thing should be. Absolutely belt to ass. Come on in the room. If you're on Twitter, at TCESQ, get at me on the tweets. Tweeting in there. We in these streets and we in these tweets. Get at me on the YouTube in the chat. This is what we wanted. If you don't like that, you don't like Milwaukee Bucks basketball. That's what I'm talking about. The Milwaukee Bucks in the second half outscored the Indiana Pacers 70-44, belt to ass. Let me tell you something. Indiana, well, I guess they were up 20-some points on us. I don't think, I truly believe this. I don't believe the Pacers ever looked as dominant as we did in that second half throughout the first 2 games. I really don't. And we didn't let you come back. We didn't allow none of that. It was absolute dominance. And guess what? This is why you should have even more confidence. You got a stinker from Damian Lillard tonight. Defensively, I thought he was great. But here's the thing, and we'll talk about it. I thought defensively he played with effort. I thought the effort was great. Even in the first half, Indiana was up, 10-12 at the end of the half. I thought the intensity was great. I thought the effort was great. You're just missing shots. But you know who didn't miss none? You know who didn't miss those shots? Gary. That boy Gary Trent. Gary Trent was out there shooting like crazy, shooting the lights out the ball. And that's why ultimately you didn't need Dame offensively, because Gary Trent, he picked up the slack. You got 37 from Giannis, 37 from Dame. Hey, listen, you'll take 78, 76 points, whatever that is, from your 2 guys. From 2 guys. Again, if you'd show me those, if I didn't see the names, and I just saw the stat lines, I would have assumed the 37 was Giannis, 37 was Dame. But you got that from Gary Trent Jr., so you didn't need the Dame offense. I thought he still did a good job. He's gonna find it. He hasn't really found it in the 2 games he's been back. Damian Lillard's gonna find it, and when he does, oh, it's over. It's absolutely over. If you're Indiana, you should be shaking in your boots right now. You should be shaking in your boots. You should absolutely be shaking in your boots. All the people, and if you enjoy that, please hit the like button if you enjoyed that. Pacers fans, come on in the room. You in here the last 2 nights? Pacer fans, we in here the last 2 nights. Bring that ass back, boy. Well, what man say? Bring that ass back. But that's what he say. Bring that ass here. No, he didn't say bring that ass back. That's crazy.
Whoa.
I'm a little too.
Maybe you just go and get your ass back in the room. Something like that, right? I mean, even then.
I'm ahead of myself. I'm sorry. I can't help it right now. Mine's moving fast. I'm out here talking like Shannon Sharp. That's what I'm out here doing.
Well, listen, if you talk, Shannon Sharp would be okay if he was just talking. That's his problem.
Yeah, he did a little too much. 117-101, man. This is a fun night. If you're in the 5-serve, man, you should have had a good time. And it was fun. That bum Halliburton didn't say a word. Isn't that crazy? Didn't he? I don't know that he said a word. Quiet as a church mouse tonight. Absolutely. I mean, it's disgusting. Halliburton's disgusting. You talk all day. He's a front runner. And I was so glad. Excellent job from the crowd tonight in the 5-serve. Screaming overrated from the jump. That's the difference, and that's Indiana fans seem to not get it. All the comments I see are, you only talk when you're up. That's what you do. No, that's what you do when you a scared baby back biatch. Is you only talk. What Michael Jordan say? You saw it last day. What Michael Jordan say? Cigar in his mouth, bat in his hand. Measure of a man is talking when you're down. Anybody can talk when you up. That's all right. Indiana, they ain't seen The Last Dance. They don't know what it's like to be champions. That's the problem. They don't understand championship basketball. We understand championship basketball. They don't understand it. They don't get it. And that's why they're yapping and running their mouth when they're up 1-0 in the playoff series, when they're up 2-0 in the playoff series, when they're beating the Bucks in the playoff series without Dame or without Giannis. That's when they can run their mouth, because they ain't never won nothing. Ain't done nothing. Reggie Miller couldn't win it. You know, all bums. All bums. That's what they are. 117-101. I'm fired up tonight, man. Fired up because this series, we got them right where we want them. We got them. Let's do a game recap real quick. Giannis, 37, 12, and 6, 1 assist, 14 and 19. Hey, what that boy shoot from the line? What that boy shoot from the line? Woo! Woo! I didn't know if that was Dame or Giannis at the free throw line. 9 and 10 tonight. 90% for the three. He was a plus 24 on the night. How about Brook Lopez? 14 minutes. 14 minutes. You talk about those changes. No points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 0 for 3, and he had a quick hook tonight. Gary Trent Jr., 37 points, 3 rebounds tonight. 4 steals from Gary Trent Jr. He was 11 of 16, 9 of 12 from 3, 6 of 7 from the free throw line. Gary Trent Jr., I believe, tied the record from Ray Allen back in 2001, most threes made in a playoff game. I think, again, the announcer, everybody wanted to hit number 10. I don't know. Giannis clearly didn't know, because Giannis did not give not one damn at the end of that game to get Gary Trent the ball. So Giannis was like, I want my 40. I don't care about what Gary got going on. Dame Lillard, 7 points tonight, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 2 of 12, 1 of 8 from the three-point line. And Damian Lillard, you talk about buying somebody a steak dinner. Dame's got to buy Gary a steak dinner, because this, again, if the Bucks lose, we can talk about everything else, but you're looking at Damian Lillard, because it was not good enough tonight. I will say, again, the effort I thought was there. I thought he played good defensively. I thought at the end of the game, he knocked the ball away, had a couple steals. I thought it was one of those games where we've talked about it. If your shooting isn't going, if your scoring's not going, can you do something else to make an impact? I do believe Damian Lillard did that. But again, when you're making $50 million, you've got to be better than that. But the Bucks won without it, so I'm not gonna say I'm gonna give it a pass. We can talk about it later, but that's an afterthought because the Bucks won. Kyle Kuzma, 20 minutes tonight. I think Doc's on to something. I think that's about right. I think 20 minutes from Kyle Kuzma is about right. 9 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He had 1 block, 4 of 9 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3. I thought, again, there was the stretch in the first 5-6 minutes, not good from Kyle Kuzma. Everything after that, I thought he was fine. He played good, solid defense. Hit a 3. He had 1 3. He had 1 3, 1 or 2 from 3. I didn't think he forced it too much. I thought he got fouled on a couple of those drives. But again, that's what I'm asking for. That's okay. I can handle that. In 20 minutes, I can handle that from Kyle Kuzma. Don't lose me a game. That's what I want to see. Oh, wow. Okay, Seahawks went Jalen Milroe. Wow, okay. Sorry, I'm waiting on the Shador. Shador's not drafted.
Milroe just get picked in front of him?
Yeah, Milroe just got picked by New Orleans. Bobby Portis, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 5 of 13. 0 for 4 from 3. He was a plus 15. Bobby, same way. I thought that Bobby Portis, very rough start to the game. Rough first half from him, but I thought he picked it up. He hit some timely shots, got some rebounds, did some good things for the Bucks. There was one in particular where we were on a run, and sometimes just pass the ball out. You're getting stuck in traffic, get a ball out, especially on a rough night. AJ Green, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 of 8 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3. That 3 ball he hit was from Oshkosh, Tulsa, wherever you wanted to say. He hit a deep 30-foot 3 to basically put the Indiana Pacers out of their misery. Kevin Porter Jr., 1.4 rebounds a night. He was 0 for 5, but he was a -5. But he didn't hit shots. I thought Kevin Porter Jr. had 6 assists. I thought Kevin Porter Jr., I thought he ran the offense. I didn't think, did he have, how many turnovers did he have? 1 turnover tonight. So 1 turnover to 6 assists, I'll take it. Again, you want him to be a little more impactful scoring the basketball, but that's okay. How about, and this is the interesting point for me, Jericho Sims, 4 points, 8 rebounds. Jericho Sims played 14 minutes and 34 seconds. Brook Lopez played 14 minutes, 36 seconds. Their minutes were basically even. That's where we're at. That's going to be a big talking point as we move forward. On the Indiana side of things, Pascal Siakam, he had a heck of a game tonight. I give credit where it's due. I thought he played scrappy. I thought he played real scrappy and hungry tonight and played well. 28-5. Nesmith's 18-7. Miles Turner was a two-pack of ass. 6 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He was 1 of 9, 0 of 6 from 3. He looked like it. He like one of those guys where, yeah, I play much better at home. I go on the road, and yeah, I look like I ain't got a good night's sleep, not in my right bed. I don't know. Didn't get no home cooking. That's what he looked like. Tyrese Halliburton, 14.7 rebounds, 10 assists. He was 5'11", hit a couple garbage time threes. But most importantly, 0. He had a 0 across the board in talking because I didn't hear him say a word tonight. Obi Toppin, 10 points. Thomas Bryant, 3 points. TJ McConnell was out there running around. Ben Mather was the only one who wanted to say anything. He was a bum tonight. 9 points, 3 rebounds. Shepard, 5 points, 2 rebounds tonight. But again, this was a big-time win from your Milwaukee Bucks. I'm going to shut up again because we'll have a lot to talk about. I'll just say this in general. I thought even though the Bucks were down 10 or 12 at the half, I thought the effort was good. I thought the effort was phenomenal throughout the entire game. Got a little lazy last couple minutes, I think. And it is hard to keep up the effort. It is very hard to keep up that effort when you're not making shots. It's almost deflating to play good hard-nosed defense and then have them hit a shot over a good hard-nosed defense and come back down, get a good shot up and miss it. It is deflating to go back down and be like, because you're just thinking about it. But again, you just shoot the ball to make or miss league. And in the second half, all of the things that you saw from the first half picked themselves up and showed themselves in the second half for the Bucks. I thought they played the right way. Last thing I'll say before I turn over to you, JT, I've been talking a lot, but I thought that defensively, when I talk about effort, man on man, mano y mano, I thought they did a hell of a job. They switched everything. To me, the worst defense was when they were in zone. And that's funny because that's been a calling card throughout the year for the Bucks. I thought the worst they looked was going zone. I mean, I thought we forced really tough looks all night long for Indiana, and they switched magnificently. I thought it was good, man. I really was impressed by the effort. They hit shots. They closed them out. Didn't let them back through the door. Found Gary Trent. Gary Trent was hot. AJ Green was hot from 3. I think the start again. Doc probably won't tweak it again. I think I could go Brook Lopez getting even less minutes. And again, the other point I didn't bring Taurean Prince, 3 minutes tonight. 3 minutes from Taurean Prince is what he got. He was 0 for 1. So that's the guy who lost out on all the time was Taurean Prince. We'll see. I think that's probably going to continue. But I think Brook, I would probably start. I probably would start Jericho Sims. I don't know. Maybe the space is not good enough, but. Or maybe you start Giannis to 5 and you start Bobby Portis. But again, the Bucks won, so Doc probably won't touch it after making the one change, Gary Trent for Taurean Prince. But I will say this: Gary Trent made Doc Rivers look like a genius, putting him in the starting lineup. Because when I insert you to the starting lineup and you give me 37 points on 11 and 16, 9 and 12 from 3. Hey, I'm looking at everybody else saying, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Good win for the Bucks tonight, 117-101. You're back in this series down 2-1. That's what I saw. JT, what'd you see?
Man, hey, we got to clap it up for Doc. We got to clap it up for Doc because at the end of the day, we said we needed a change. We 100% said we needed a change. We said somebody's got to go. We can't run out there again with Brook, Kuzma, and Taurean Prince. Taurean Prince goes to the bench tonight. Brook gets reduced minutes. Hey, Doc, are you listening? Are you watching the CCC? Is Doc watching the CCC? Man, absolutely love the move to insert Gary Trent Jr. in the lineup. I'll say in the first half, I was a bit worried. I think a lot of Bucks fans were because we said, man, this is kind of the same old thing. There were some issues with the effort. You saw us down by 10. You kind of wondered what the hell's going on out there. Dame was extremely cold. And we knew it, right? We knew that we saw Dame was cold, and we go, you know what? What's going to happen here? But I give you credit, too, because you did touch on this, Trey. He did play defense tonight. I saw Dame busting his ass on defense tonight. I saw Dame moving his feet in front of Halliburton. I saw him chasing down TJ McConnell, getting a block. I saw Dame trying to do everything he could to get out there and hustle as a leader on this team. And no, the shots weren't falling offensively, but you can't say Dame didn't impact this game. He was helping guys create in that first quarter as well. So got to give Dame credit, even though the offensive, from a statistical perspective, was not good, right? He shot the weekend before Valentine's Day, never a good stat line to put up. But at the end of the day, I think that's what you need to see from your leader. Another thing tonight, Kyle Kuzma. We talked about this before. There are some goofy plays with Kyle. It's just kind of there's going to be some some plays. What's that emoji you always send out where you go, oh man, that doesn't look good. But for all of those plays, Kyle Kuzma does make hustle plays. He does do that relatively consistently tonight. You saw him diving on the floor tonight, trying to get loose basketballs, getting rebounds, trying to get things. There's a couple times I thought he was going to play a couple layups that I think we could have finished a little bit better on too. But Kyle Kuzma was out there scrapping and was out there trying to wield this team. He was trying to do his part. The third thing I'm going to say is Gary Trent Jr. I don't know about you guys, right? I mean, again, he had 5 threes in that third quarter alone. Couple in that first half. Gary Trent Jr., after a while, it just felt like every single three was momentum building. Like literally there were just blocks of hope. He's literally just laying out boxes of hope for Bucks fans to get excited about this thing, say, hey, we do got some fight. Hey, we did come to bang here, right? And I absolutely love it because it was just, I found myself getting, I'm standing right in front of the TV. When I'm 5 years old, I'm standing right in front of the TV like, yo, swing this thing out to Gary. He's hot. He's got it. Right? And you watch that happen. I haven't seen that level of excitement for the Bucks all playoff series. Quite honestly, I just haven't. I thought that was huge, and that was the stand we needed to try to get some momentum back in this series. I love the adjustment by Doc. Keep him in the lineup. KPJ, you talked about already, wasn't as impactful but tonight on offense. But you know what I saw KPJ do? And I was kind of impressed by this. So he's checking Halliburton. Right, all of a sudden he switches over to Halliburton, guards Siakam, who's much bigger than Halliburton, right? And then forces the turnover there too with that as well. I'm like, okay, KPJ, I see you, right? A couple things I'll also mention. I was a bit nervous about when KPJ went down with that. They're saying it may be a bone bruise.
Yeah.
That may be something to watch because boy, that is painful. They talked about how that gets painful, and a couple of days afterwards, something to certainly think about and monitor. Hopefully he's going to be fine. I know Gary Trent. I think Gary Trent got some shin issues or something going on. I think he's going to be fine too. But man, this is the fight we needed to see. And this is the last thing I'll end before I turn over to you, Justin. You can't front run if you're not in front. That's what I'm saying. You can't front run if you're not in front. Halliburton, Pacers. It is what. Speaking of which, I'm just touching this real fast too. There's a ton of comments on here. You got a couple Pacer fans trying to just talk crazy, and I just feel like, yo, if you're gonna go ahead and put yourself out there, like grammar, I'm saying, like, y'all ain't allergic to it, Pacer fans. Come on now.
Real quick, want to jump in. Also, just I got my eyes. Dylan Gabriel just went to the Browns. So anyway, this is insane.
From Oregon?
Yeah, from Oregon. Yes. But anyway, super chats. Matthew Adlar says Dame A- on O and A+ on D. A-. A-. Okay, A- on O. I thought you were saying A-. Dame was a minus on O and a plus on D. Let's go Bucks. Absolutely, Matthew. That's absolutely the truth. Agreed with you there. Appreciate the super chat. NYC Demon with the super chat. He says that man Tyrese is a front runner. Man had no words to say. I forgot he was playing today. Siakam is the only player I respect. Gary, and we're going to say it. I ain't going to say him if he was. Gary motherfucking Trent should have been a starter. Brooke out next, Doc. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that as well. And Tyrese, front runner. You know he's a front runner. That's what he does. And I agree with you, the NYC. I'm going to say it for the Pacer fans in here, whatever. I respect Pascal Siakam. I'm now going to say that I do respect one person on the Indiana Pacers, and that's Pascal Siakam. Matthew Adlar jumps in with another super chat. He says, Gary Trent secured his starting spot. Ain't no going back. 100%. There is no going back on that. No way around it. No way, no how. Gary Trent is in the starting lineup for good. And last one, NYC Demon jumps back in with another super chat. Oh, we twerking. He says, little things. That man Sims can move his feet. He's just great on defense. Dame has a game in him, but the defense I've seen from him, I think best defense I've seen from him ever. Amazing fronting from KPJ, agreed. And Gary got over every screen and great hands. Absolutely, NYC. Again, the effort was there in both halves. I really believe it. The only difference between the first half and the second half was the Bucks made shots, and that's what you got to do. Hit your shots. This feels like a new series, folks. It feels like a new series. Appreciate the super chats. Sorry about that, Justin. Go ahead.
Nah, you're good, bro. Hey, we up tonight, man. I got all these brothers. We on this golf trip. I'm going to try not to wake them up. But, hey, man, if you sleeping tonight, you might have get your behind up and enjoying some of this. So, real quick before we get to Doc, I want to shout out my boy Kima Washington, Brandilly Creative Group. made those wonderful mocks that Trey and JT have on tonight. I'm the only idiot that came on the trip and left mine at home, so my apologies.
Appreciate
but
it.
Sunday,
CCC, baby. CCC. Hey, we coming to a store near you.
hey, it's a blackout Sunday, so we're going to be in them joints Sunday for
sir.
sure. All right, so let's get to Doc real quick. So Doc said that he wanted more aggression to turn Halliburton back and to apply pressure, and he felt like Gary Trent brought that to the starting lineup.
He did.
He said they kind of lost their way playing in the first half. I thought someone else in the chat mentioned that we were in foul trouble, which that also alluded to the bad closing in that second quarter.
Good point.
Doc made a reference to the NFL. Shout out to your boy Shador. He said even the worst quarterback in the NFL can tear a defense apart if there's no pass rush on him. So meaning that Halliburton was able to come down and do whatever he wanted to do because there was no pressure being applied to him. We saw that today with Gary Trent Jr., Kevin Porter Jr., and A.J. Green. Dame is still working his way back. He has no rhythm, and it's tough because you sat for that long to come back. He said Dame probably isn't even right. That kind of scared me. But the guys are rallying around him, and it's created a new energy because they see Dame fighting, so they want to go on the court and fight more. Sims was fantastic, and Sims' rebounds and traffic is bringing a new energy to this Bucks team. We got to bring this energy because right now we've only won one basketball game. It was great to see Gary Trent Jr. He was aggressive, tough, did everything he could do. He might even have overshadowed Giannis's 37 points tonight. I thought this was the biggest point from the press conference to me. So, did you notice that how AJ Green was setting those screens with Giannis today? You know who's been teaching him how to do this?
Pat Connaughton.
Yes.
Yeah.
Teaching him and teaching Gary Trent Jr. And I mean, that's just why Pat is a true professional and a veteran because he's teaching guys even though he can't impact the game on the floor. He used one timeout for rest, and that's all we got from Doc. So what I want to do, man, I want to keep this thing 10 toes down. So because like JT just alluded to, we seen all y'all Pacers fans in here. I know y'all probably running now using your Nikes. But before we get to that, man, 37% from three tonight for the Milwaukee Bucks. Pacers were 32%. We were 37% because of Gary Trent Jr. and A.J. Green. Everyone else missed a three. It's crazy.
And you know what, Justin? Let me go ahead and to elaborate on that. We was 4 for 23 in the first half from the three-point line, right? The Pacers were like 7 for 24. In the second half from three, we were 11 for 16.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, which is crazy because our season average from three was, I think we led the league. It was a 38.7 is what we shot as a team from three during the regular season. I think that's about right. 38.7, or right a smidge from 39%. Go ahead, brother. Keep preaching.
So we had Damian Lillard. He was 2 for 12 from the floor, 1 for 8 from three-point line, but he was still a plus 16 on the floor. Yeah. So we want to talk about what he's not doing offensively and stuff like that. That's $50 million worth of defense tonight. $50 million. And then I just want to say, man, I was absolutely wrong. I wanted to see Gary Trent Jr. keep coming off the bench for that big push to close games out and stuff like that. Putting them into the starting lineup, we look like a completely different team. You mentioned that Dame owes Gary Trent Jr. a steak. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, Carnivore, come on with that sponsorship.
There you go.
We send them over to Carnivores. But no, real quick.
Shout out to Omar.
For sure. 10 toes down real quick, though. We seen your Pacers fans. We see your comments. You calling us every sideways name in the book, talking about how we going to get swept, talking about how we crybabies, we all this. We don't see y'all no more. Where you at?
And they front runners. That's Chris King said, where the Pacers fans trolling in the comments? Not tonight, because they front runners, just like their leader. Caliber, is that your king? Is Halliburton your king? That's what that gives you front running, just like, where you at?
Hey. You know what? Now you can't be light skinned Tyrese. You got to come out and play like Tyreek. That's what you got to do.
Yeah,
that's what he got. If he got that in him.
The only thing I want to clear up from game 2 because they tried to cook me in the comments. You know, we ain't supposed to read them comments, but we're gonna read them and we're gonna address it. I said what I said. First of all, Kevin Porter Jr. Like these dummies are comparing Kevin Porter Jr. to T.J. McConnell. And you're talking about T.J. McConnell is a better – like, hey, y'all dummies don't even know basketball down there, dude. Kevin Porter Jr., had he not had all that off-the-court stuff happen, you're talking about $100 million man. TJ McConnell won't make $100 million in his career. He is what he is. I said what I said. Go ahead, Trey.
Yeah, no, I listen, man. I just thought, it was a fun night. If you're a Bucks fan, Hallis says you got your one game. Nah, I don't think you really feel that way. I don't think you really feel that way.
No.
John Hassel with the super chat. Keep it coming. We'll keep twerking. John Hassel says you can't help off Neesmith. Oh, went to a commercial. It says you can't help off Neesmith, and you have to just keep Nembhard in front of you. These guys aren't as good as we make them look when we leave them wide open. And you're right, John. That goes to effort. It goes to effort, and you have to have a team that is willing. And that's what the Bucks did tonight. They switched all over the floor, and what it comes down to. Again, I don't know if you guys listen to what you watch. I listen a lot. I know some people listen to who they want to listen to. I listen a lot in the mornings to the NBA radio, and I'll listen to Frank Isola and your boy White Mamba. What's the man's name? What's the man? White Mamba. Used to play for the Bulls, play for the Celtics, play-by-play. I mean, does the Celtics? Scalabrini, right? So
Wait.
and what?
Didn't Frank bang on you? Didn't Frank? Didn't Frank
yeah,
also hit you DMs and bang on you one time? You tell something you like?
Yeah, me and Frank always in the DMs. He gets upset when I talk about him, when I say something about him, because we go back for fun takes. But I like listening to Frank because he keeps it real. He's a real guy. And the interesting thing though, but the person says it's Scalabrini all the time. When he's talking, he talks about you got a guard. You got a guard in the NBA, man. And I know people this is the difference that sets leagues apart. And everybody loves to say they don't play defense in the NBA. It's boring. Watch basketball. Watch basketball if you don't believe that. If you don't really believe that, these are the times in the playoffs where if you don't guard, you will get exposed. And for 2 games, the Milwaukee Bucks did not guard hard enough, and they got exposed. And so what they did tonight, and again, we can talk about the shooting if you want to, but the defense stepped up as well. And they guarded tonight. Again, I believe from everybody, I mean, to me, everybody outside of Brook Lopez, I thought defensively, everybody outside of Brook Lopez, and I believe Bobby Portis to some extent, and maybe there were a couple times Kevin Porter Jr. gave up some, but everything else, I thought defensively, everybody else played really, really hard on just about every possession, and they fought over screens, they fought around screens, and again, but you stay with your concept throughout the game, which was we're going to switch every single time. We're going to switch around. And again, if you're going to switch, that means you got to guard. And when Brook Lopez can't be out there to guard, it's going to be tough. And again, that's also why I can't stand the plus-minus stuff. Don't sit around and tell me about plus-minus. Brook Lopez was a +5 the night Jericho Sims was a -8. That's how it goes. I mean, that's just how things go sometimes. Jericho Sims was much more impactful to me. Tell me a little bit about how, I mean, again, we talked about Gary Trent Jr., how do you think this was, because I mean, he's not going to, because somebody said, Harry Potter said, don't get too excited. Somebody else said, Gary's not going to do this again. He's probably not. He's probably not going to go 37 again. So a couple things I want to ask you guys. One, how do you either get Damian Lillard going? You said that Doc Rivers said that he thinks Dame's not all there. I agree, because I don't think Dame is this bad. I really don't. Well, let me say this. He's not. I know he's not this bad offensively. So I do think it's either a conditioning plus rust, plus the injury. Something's not all there with Damian Lillard, and we know that. And so the big thing for me is let's find a way to get past this round, and then hopefully as the series and the next series goes on, he can continue to get better and better as he puts some more reps behind him. But he's not playing right. How do you either get this because and I'll say this, I think that for the Bucks to win, they're a top-heavy basketball team. So Giannis is going. This is what we talked about though. JT. This is what we talked about. Giannis got to go get his. Dame got to get 35 and 35, and then everybody else fall in line. The difference tonight was you got the 37 from Gary. It just came from Gary Trent. It's probably not going to come from Gary Trent again. How do you replicate this in the net for the next game to figure out a way to win the next game? How do you do it? When I believe because you're a top-heavy team, that's what you kind of got to have is 2 guys that carry the load. And then you're finding ways to do it otherwise. One, if it's not Gary Trent Jr., who can it be? If it's not Damian Lillard. And 2, how do you think that Gary Trent, do you think it was just an anomaly? Gary Trent was just on? Or do you think there was something that Doc Rivers did to get him involved? Why do you think it was Gary Trent Jr. tonight? How can they replicate that again?
Well, I think that the thing is that, so to go back for a second, part of the reason why I'm so excited about tonight is because you did talk about this being a top-heavy roster and the reliance on Giannis and Dame. Dame didn't have it offensively tonight. Somebody stepped up. This is what we've been asking for this is what we've been saying this whole time. Somebody's got to step up, right? Was it going to be Bobby Portis? Who was it going to be? Tonight was really important too because the Bucks last night, the last game from three was bad. Shots weren't falling. This is a team that lives and dies by the three. Unfortunately, just what we are Giannis. We are 3 and D guys. That's part of our identity too. So I think having Gary Trent Jr. come out there and have a game like this, I don't expect this to happen for the rest of the playoffs. I think asking a man to make 9 threes, yeah, that's that. Now listen, if Gary can make 4 or 5, I'd be very happy with that. But how exactly do we replicate this? That I'm really not sure from a 3-point perspective. I'm imagining that the Pacers are certainly going to adjust. And it's but we got shooters. That's the thing, though. We got shooters. We got guys who can put the rock in there. I mean, there are multiple guys on this team that can pull from 3. So I'm not sure we really replicate that. But what I do think we can replicate is that somebody else stepping up, especially if Dame is struggling too, and saying, all right, look. That's 25 points we're gonna need to get one way or the other. So if I'm gonna have to get 15, somebody else gonna get to whatever that is. That's coaching. That's what you need. And one thing I'll say about this too tonight, I know this probably doesn't fully answer the question. I know Justin probably give you a better answer. What really is inspiring about this is that first half stunk for the Bucks, guys. Like, let's just call it how we see it. The first half stunk was ass nuggets, right? Booty chips, whatever you want to call it. But the second half and that third quarter, that's what you needed to see. You needed to see that fight. You needed to see this team come out and drop damn near 40 points in that third quarter and accelerate through the line here. And then come out in that fourth quarter and open that lead up, right? Third quarter, they walking around with the belt around their neck. The fourth quarter, now we put it to somebody's ass. And that's exactly what needed that. Man, I'm fired up.
So we ended up winning. We ended up winning this basketball game by 20 or almost 20. We were down 10 to start the third quarter, and then it quickly blossomed to 12. That's a 32-point swing. So what can we do for the next game? I agree a lot with JT's point. If it's not Gary Trent Jr. scoring 37, I don't necessarily need 37 for him. He could give me 15, and I could get 15 from Bobby Portis and get 8 from AJ Green. But the thing that we need to matriculate to Sunday's game is that defensive effort, because that's something we can definitely control. And if we keep that pressure on Halliburton, like Doc Rivers mentioned in the press conference, and don't let him do what he wants to do and skip down the court and do all that stuff, then we're going to be fine. Can Gary Trent Jr. repeat this? I absolutely think he can. He's a dog and he's a shooter. And if he can't do it, AJ Green can catch fire. I think someone in the chat said that. If he can't do it, Bobby Portis can catch fire. I mean, all these Pacer fans, Harry Potter, told us before, it's a fluke game from Bobby Portis, and we're not going to be able to reproduce that, and that's why we're going to get swept. Now it's a gentleman's sweep. I get it, though. You're a Pacers fan. You're doing what you're supposed to do. But one thing you're not going to do is come tell us to pipe down and not enjoy this win while you was front running and Halliburton was headbutting the ball and doing all this other BS he was doing. So we're going to enjoy this win tonight, regardless of what any of y'all say. It's up for us.
It's absolutely up. Let me ask you guys this too, because let's just go through the minutes tonight. And I thought it was interesting. This is interesting to me that Doc Rivers. I mean, I would have thought that Giannis was going to play more. And again, I know he was a little bit of foul trouble early, but Giannis sat. To me, there were 2 big key moments of the game. The big moments to me were getting back early. The first flurry throughout the third quarter, where really, again, I think it was really Kuzma and Gary Trent Jr. who was when Kuzma started getting his a few points, and then Gary Trent Jr. knocked down a couple threes to get it from a 10-point game to tying. And I thought that was a big moment in the basketball game. And then the other moment I thought was really big was the stretch where Giannis went out with about a minute and a half, minute 50 to go, something like that into the third quarter. And I thought that when he went out there, that he was going to come back to start the fourth. I thought it was going to be, this minute and 30 breather, you come back to start the fourth. Okay, cool. That's not what happened. Like, he did not come back till about 8 minutes left in the fourth. And he came out, the Bucks were up 11. When he got back in the game, I believe the Bucks were up 10. That was a big 4 or 5 5-ish minute stretch that the Milwaukee Bucks held onto a lead and didn't get blown in a minute. And he was able to come back fresh and healthy in those last 8 minutes. And he ends up only playing 32 minutes in a must-win have-it game that where you played your starters. I mean, late into the game. I mean, it's great. Nobody played over 32 minutes tonight, which is, Gary Trent played 34. But it wasn't like you just had you needed 40 minutes from Giannis to win the basketball game. It's interesting because Indiana kind of did the same thing. Halliburton played 31. Pascal played 31 minutes. That's just an interesting. I think it's an interesting moment that's only what happens there. But going through the minutes, Giannis plays 32, Gary plays 34, Dame plays 32. And then you look at Bobby giving you 32, AJ gets 25, Kevin Porter gets 26, Jericho 14, Brook Lopez 14. And I think the big one that's interesting is Taurean Prince with 3. Do you get to the moment now where and again, the 3 minutes is whatever. Is Taurean Prince now, is he on Bobby Porter status from the finals, from the Brooklyn series, where he is, I think he's done. And then do you get to the point where, do you think this is the minutes, do you think this is how it's going to go pretty much moving forward now, the rest of the series, where Brook's going to be a 15-minute guy, Kuzma's going to be a 20-minute guy, and your real horses are Gary Trent, Damian Lillard, Giannis, Bobby, and AJ. I mean, those are your guys that technically played starterish minutes. AJ played 25, but I mean, you could make the argument that he could have played more than, because I think there was moments where Kevin Porter and Dame played together. But do you think that's what Doc's going to? Here's the question: If Doc is going to, if he's going to go to that, is there a reason to continue starting Brook? Is there even a reason at this point to keep starting Brook Lopez? Like, I guess that's my question. Like, why do we have to? If he's only going to play 14 minutes, why do we have to pretend like he should start the game? Because I'll say this, I truly believe it started when the starting group was much better because Gary Trent played well. But I think the Bucks could have been up 8 to 10 points if Brook Lopez isn't giving up threes and giving up open straight line drives and fouling guys because he can't keep up out there in the perimeter. Like is the jig up? Like I don't know that Brook Lopez needs to at least start the game. I don't understand it.
I would agree with that. I think I 100% agree. When I saw Brook Lopez playing, I saw 2 goofy fouls. I don't know what that was. I saw Brook Lopez pull up from 30-something feet. That was awful. It was a lot of bad. I agree with you. I think Brook Lopez needs to be the next to leave the starting line. What is the point? Is it a respect thing? Is it a comfort thing? I'm not really sure, but I agree. Brook Lopez, 15 minutes. Let's go ahead and cap it there. Let's cap it there. We'll give some other guys some run there. Because I don't see the net benefit of Brook Lopez being out there on the court period at this point. I hate to say that because he's been a stable presence for the Bucks for the better part of the last 6 years, 5 years, however long he's been here. But yeah, I mean, when I saw him playing tonight, he looked old, he looked slow, he looked out of place. I saw him jack up an awful 3. I saw those fouls that I couldn't figure out how the hell that wasn't what that was. But yeah, I think this is the new normal. I think you're either going to see Brook come off the bench, which you should, 15 minutes max, or maybe he starts and gets the quick hook.
Just one shout out, super chat from DJ Droop TV. He says Dame's D was superb tonight. That's crazy work. He deserves a shout out for show. Yes, his defense was superb tonight. I agree. Again, and it goes back to the point we make all the time on this show. We say it every single night. If your offense isn't going, if your shot's not going, are you going to do something else? Because again, if you can't do the other things without having your shot going, you should sit down. You really should. But Damian Lillard did the other things tonight. He has some assists. I thought he got down. Well, I thought when he was getting downhill, I thought it was great. Again, this is the last thing I'll say on Damian Lillard. You can, again, I get you want to get to that 3. You're 1 for 8, which means that he was 1 for 4 in every other shot because he ended up 2 for 12, and he got to the free throw line twice. He got to the free throw line once. Again, I thought he was much better when he's attacking and forcing action versus sidestep 3, get back to 3. Like, if they're not going, get to the basket and make the defense do something. Like you talking about the quarterback kind of thing from Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton put up 14. I think he had 2 of his threes, and when the game was out of reach. But Tyrese Halliburton when he's going to the hole, he's looking to dish. He's not trying to score. So I think you can live with it. And again, he's 5 for 11. You can play like that, getting to the hole and finding ways to facilitate versus always looking for the step back 3. But anyway, yeah, good move, or at least good comment. DJ Droop talking about Damian Lillard again. Everything else I thought was great. The effort tonight was superb. This is a basketball team where, again, if the Milwaukee Bucks gave the effort they gave tonight in every game in the regular season, or even 80% of that effort in the regular season, they're a top 3 team in the East. That was a top 3. They would have finished top 3 because you wouldn't have dropped a random game here or a random game there. The effort was there, and again, the effort was there because it started top to bottom. Dame gave the effort. Yeah, if you're a better defender, if I know I'm a better defender than Damian Lillard, and I see Damian Lillard getting down in the stance and guarding and knocking the ball away and screaming and being loud about it and being hyped up that he made a stop, that should get me again. Just like shooting is infectious. Maybe it wasn't tonight because the only guys that hit shots were Gary and AJ. But just like shooting shots and making 3-pointers is infectious, and hitting shots, defense the same way. It's infectious when you're getting on the floor and going to get the loose balls and going to make those extra possessions, extra plays. So that's what we saw tonight from Damian Lillard. Go ahead, Justin.
No, absolutely spot on. As far as Brooke is concerned, man, like one thing about it, if you're going to be a championship contender, if you're going to progress through the playoffs, there's going to be times when matchups aren't in your favor. We saw that with Bobby Portis in the 21 series against the Brooklyn Nets. He had to be pulled and he had to be benched. It's not personal because if we're fortunate enough to find a way to make it to the next round, then we're going to need you then, and we'll need you then. The only guys that can't really be pulled in this lineup are Giannis and Dame. Everybody else you kind of play with it as much as you can to get the most effective matchups on the floor. Speaking of that, I think he'll do a lot better against Thomas Bryant than he will against Miles Turner. And that will also force Rick Carlisle to pivot from his offense right now and figure out a different way to try to expose things. The defense from Dame was amazing, like you mentioned. The defense from Sims was amazing. The defense you're right. It's so infectious. AJ Green was moving his feet tremendously out there tonight. We're in a good spot, and we have a lot of stuff to look forward to. But the thing we can't do is take our foot off of this gas pedal now while we're going down this hill and stall back out because we want to get Eagles or we want to do this. And the last point is I think that, and I've said it a few times, we were doing the old Phil Jackson thing with Bill Cartwright, Luke Longley, etc. But even Luke got pulled for Bill Wennington in some of those championship runs because Bill was the more athletic guy and got up and down with Jordan and Pippen and them, and et cetera. And I think that's what Jericho Sims can bring us.
Jericho Sims absolutely can bring it. It's there. This series, I'll say this series is 100% there for the taking. And Young City says Brooks should be benched. Harry Potter doesn't tell GA he's welcome to nap time. Everybody else is sad. I think that's what'd you say at the beginning before we got on air, Justin? What'd you say that Indiana's a bunch of role players? And I think that's true. Again, I think what Indiana is, to go back to the NBA, NFL drafts in Green Bay, they are the Green Bay Packers wide receiver core, where you have a bunch of twos. You have your best player, the guys that are your best guys are twos. That your best guys, Halliburton is, he's a number 2 on a really good basketball team. Pascal Siakam's a number 2 on a really good. He's not a number. You don't have ones. And go ahead. What you want to say, JT?
I was gonna say what you said. They're a bunch of backup singers. Nobody's singing lead, so they relying on beats a little too heavy.
Yeah, 100%.
They don't want to be relying on beats.
Yeah, they the Migos. They the Migos. That's that.
Bunch of Wanye's.
Yes. Wanye's
hey,
crazy.
you put some respect on Wanye's name. Let me tell y'all right now. Wanye Morris get out there and get it too. Wanye Morris get out there and go crazy. Y'all better stop. Don't do Wanye like that. That's a Boys and Men reference for those of y'all who are new to this. Don't do Wanye like that. You're not gonna don't do him like that. Sean is the role player in that group, right? Michael, bless his soul, Reverend Nathan. Those are the role players in that group. You better not disrespect Wanye like that.
But no, but that is funny. But no, that is. I mean, that's what the Pacers are. They are that, and then you have a bunch of, and then you have true role players there. After that, Nembhard role player, Neesmith role player, Miles Turner role player, T.J. McConnell bench warmer. Like they have a bunch. That's what it is. But I do think Pascal Siakam plays really hard. I think he's a really great player for the role that he's in. But they don't have any. I mean, they don't have a guy who you fear. That's the difference in Indiana. You don't fear anybody in Indiana. Now again, you could argue that maybe the way Dame's playing right now, that Indiana don't fear Damian Lillard. But there's no way that anybody fears. You don't fear Halliburton. You don't fear Ben Matthews. You don't fear Pascal Siakam, even though he plays really. He doesn't have an intimidating game. They just don't. Nobody does, and the Milwaukee Bucks do. And again, you go down the line tonight. Again, the two best players played in Milwaukee. The two best players on the floor tonight were Gary Trent Jr. and Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's the recipe to win this series. You can go down the line and figure out, where the other guys falling for Indiana, but they're going to be hard pressed to win the series if the two best players every night are on the Milwaukee Bucks, and that's what you saw tonight. I think again, Doc Rivers really good job. Defense was good. I'm trying to think about moments in the game where the Bucks, where Indiana just can it outside of the first half, it just felt really hard for Indiana to get to where they wanted to get to and to score the basketball. And again, I think that's because everybody played the same thing. You play better. The only player who played as good as they did at home was Pascal Siakam. Maybe you could argue Neesmith was solid. I thought the first half, I don't know what he finished in the second half, but he was 7 of 13, 4 of 8 from 3. But Siakam played well. Everybody else, again, Miles Turner was 0 for 6. Nembhard was 2 of 8. He scored 6 points. What did Nembhard have the other night? They probably had like 15. They had like 6 guys in double figures the other night or whatever it was. Tonight didn't go like that. So again, I think the Bucks, and I'll say this, I think the Bucks on Sunday, there's another level you can get to. Because you still only had Gary Trent and Giannis, who were true scorers tonight. There is another level this team gets to. And I think I truly believe that on Sunday, the Milwaukee Bucks get to that level. And they, it's Sunday, right? It's the next game, right?
Yeah,
Sunday night. I truly believe they get to that level Sunday night. I think it's gonna be another belt to ass. I think more guys really step up for the Milwaukee Bucks, and I think you have one of those nights where you just get a lot of things going right at once. But again, it all depends upon the intensity and the effort on defense. And I think this is one of the games where Doc Rivers should be in the back and in the locker room when he talks to him and saying, "This is the effort it takes. This is what you did tonight. This is like a totally different team defensively than you saw." You know what's crazy? I can't count outside of the first quarter. I don't know how many times I could count defensive just breakdowns. I don't know. The only time it's crazy because on in game 2, the Bucks got it to 2 points, and immediately there's a breakdown on the switch from Kuzma and Bobby Portis. And I believe it was Bobby Portis who messed it up, but they give Pascal Siakam a wide open 3 when you get it out of 2 points off of a breakdown late in the fourth quarter. The last time I think I saw a breakdown was Gary Trent off the screen sometime in the first half. Like, we made it extremely hard for Indiana to score, and that's what it's going to take. That's what's going to take. I think there's another gear we get to. I think we get them on Sunday. I think you go back to Indiana tied up 2-2, feeling really good about this thing. And again, I say Bucks, we've seen it before. You just have to get if we win game 4. Again, I started the show and said it's over. I obviously don't feel like that, but if you win game 4, I mean, what you gonna do? What's Indiana gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Well, and I think the most important thing tonight, the biggest takeaway I have is that the Bucks tonight showed that they have that desire to compete in them. They could have 100% after that first half, down 10. Well, we can't keep pace. We're not hitting threes tonight. We could have definitely laid an egg tonight. There's 100 that was definitely on the table looking at this in halftime. But again, that third quarter, we said absolutely not. This is our house. We showed some pride. We showed some fight. And that same fight that was inspiring fans and everybody else was stepping up. Every time Gary Trent touched the ball, everybody standing up and everything else. was running through this team too. You said it earlier in the show, that infectious energy. That's what you need, is a team who's like, no, we are good enough to compete. We can beat this team, and we're going to show you. So I really do hope this is our rallying cry. And everybody said, listen, we about 48 minutes away. If we don't figure it out tonight, we about 48 minutes away from sitting on Expedia trying to figure out how the hell we can get down to Cancun or Tulum, even though I don't even know if we can go down there like that right now because we wilding, right? We literally, everybody was sitting there looking on Hotwire or whatever, asking their agents to book them tickets to, I don't know, but where's somewhere can we go to Santorini? Are we good with Greece right now? Wherever, right? Or we can compete, push that vacation out, and see if we can compete for some hardware, at least make it to that next round. And I just love to see that fight from this team in the second half because it was a tale of two different teams. That team in the first half was not the team we saw in that second half. So, no, I don't expect this second half for every game. But what I will say is that I do expect us to come out and legitimately compete because now that we've seen ourselves do this as Bucks fans, right? We've seen this team do this. So come out. You ain't got to replicate, but do your best to duplicate, and we're going to be all right. Right? Let's go. Come on.
Let's go.
Like,
let's go.
Yes. Like, I don't want to see another lollygagging first half next game, right? A lot of messing around. Like, come out there. Put their foot on the neck. Keep pace with these dudes. Let's stop these halftime deficits. 10 points, 8 points, 12 points, whatever that is. Come out and compete from the jump. And that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that's what this will be the catalyst for that to start to happen in the next couple of games.
This team to me is they are Dame Lillard away from this thing really being over. I really think the Pacers they're extremely lucky about the blood clots because if Damian Lillard was playing anything like he should be playing, it's over. Sorry, Justin.
No, I was just gonna say at halftime I sent our group text said we got 24 minutes to fix this season basically, and we carpe diem the moment and took it over. And JT's absolutely right. We need to stop putting ourselves in this big deficit and always having to fight uphill. Let's punch downhill for a change, man. I'm sick of running uphill. I really thought that Bobby brought some infectious energy to the entire arena tonight. I thought Thanasis in the first row. You saw Benedict John with him in the first half, and then he went and he sat down and shut up. You're walking up to Giannis at the free throw line. I don't know what he said to him, but it's like, what are you really going to do?
Like, he was over there speaking some European European trash talk. That's probably because Benedict ain't from here either. And hey, listen, man, I'm a Benedict fan, but he's an Arizona guy. TJ McConnell's an Arizona guy, but we on opposite sides of the fence right now.
Yeah, I mean, I just look at it, man. It's an infectious energy that we have in this arena. The Pfizer was walking. Shout out to all you fans that were there tonight.
Hey, man, they were great. They were great.
For sure. Absolutely amazing. And let's keep it up for Sunday. Like, we have to defend the Pfizer. And if we as Bucks fans can get this energy as high as we can get it and get these boys back to Indy at 2-2, hey, that's best of 3 then. I trust 34-0 on our squad a lot more than I trust those other guys over there, man. But we gonna see. I mean, they got a lot of stuff, and they this and that, and Rick Carlisle gonna earn his check in this series.
I just hate how I just hate the national media and even Bucks fans too. Some where it just felt. I mean, because it's crazy, like it's deja vu all over again from the Brooklyn series in 21 to the Phoenix series. When I know the refrain's popular, yes, this is not 2021, and I totally get that. But I just cannot understand for the life of me how you see a team go down 2-0 and just immediately, the season's over. Let's talk about trades. Let's talk about. Hold on. They won at home. It wasn't like we lost 2 at home. They won at home. Again, I know we want to come out and I know we want to come out and win the first 2 games or at least tie it up 1-1. So you're going, and I get that. I wanted that too. But to pretend like a series is over because a team won 2 games at home like they were supposed to do, I just don't get. I just don't get pretend like the series was like we were dead in the water. Like. Do y'all know who? And it's just great. How long has Giannis been here?
Is this 10 season?
13.
13. Do you think he was going?
2013.
You think in a series where Giannis is healthy, he go in where he's top 3 MVP voting, that he's about to get swept, that he's not about to show some type of fight where he's averaging like 36 points in the series, and they've lost 2 games where he's put up 36 and 15 every night, and you don't think one of them games he gonna win? You don't think he gonna go home to in Milwaukee and they gonna put up a fight? Again, it just oh ye of little faith. I mean, it just baffles me that that's where we are. And again, I'm not saying we could totally lose a series. It's not out of realm we lose a series. But to think that we weren't gonna put up a fight, that it's just automatically over, could kick the can down the street. What's going on? Who's gonna get fired? Who? No. Hang on. And I truly believe the reason we are down 2-1 in the series right now, it is not because of the Indiana Pacers. It's not because of anything they've done. It's not because of anything. It is because Doc Rivers did not play the correct lineups. It's because Doc Rivers did not play the right. He finally, and guess what? I don't think he's all the way done it yet. I don't think he's done it yet. I don't believe that he has still yet to put the optimal lineup together. Or at least the optimal, not the optimal lineup, but I don't believe he's put the optimal lineups as a collective unit together to make the most out of this basketball team. Because again, I don't think Brook Lopez should start. Go ahead.
No, one thing I forgot when I was talking, Giannis said in his post game, and I may be quoting him incorrectly, I know what I have to effing do.
No, that's exactly what he said.
And he went out there and he did what he had to effing do. And we need him to effing do it again on Sunday. Keep that same energy, 34. Sorry, that's all. I forgot that point.
No, that's all. No, go ahead, JT.
Well, and you know what? You know what's also nice too. And again, we've said this numerous different times too. But I hate to say this, but we have kind of bought Dame some time here, right? Like we bought Dame some time here. We've taken some pressure a little bit off Dame if it takes him some another game to get his legs back underneath him too. We bought him a little bit of time as well. And if we win on Sunday, we kind of do buy Dame some more time here to kind of get this thing rolling, provided that someone else steps up. But I agree with you, Trey. As long as you got 34 on the court, you got a chance. You 100% have a chance. And I think Gary Trent's perfect example. You know who you got to give credit for that?
Who?
John Horst. We got to give Gary Trent, John Horst, for having the foresight to stack the bench with a veteran like this who can do what he does. And for Gary Trent, for the most part, Gary Trent, who started out on this team, he started out well. The first couple games started okay. Then he got hurt. Something was wrong. His back was messed up or something. And then it wasn't so hot for a good roughly 10-game stretch there and figured this thing out. But when you brought him in, you knew he was a guy. You knew what he could do, right? You knew there was a potential for him to go off every once in a while. And what I really like is that happened at the biggest moment. Like, let's say, what did we say before this game started? This is a must-win game for this Bucks team. And what you need your role players to do, and your superstars, but really your role players to do, they need to have their biggest performances at the biggest moments. And right now, this was the biggest game of the season. There's no question about that. Let's just be clear about this. This was the biggest game this Bucks team had all season. Because if you lost tonight, you'd have been down 3-0. And that's a different conversation altogether, right? That's anxiety-fueled panic, like, oh, damn, are we about to get swept? Or, oh, damn, are we about to put ourselves in gentleman sweep territory, right? So I say that to say that when you bring a guy in like Gary Trent, for all the DeLon Wright, who didn't do nothing, Taurean Prince, regular season, was he top 5 in 3-point percentage in the regular season where we finished there? He was leading the league to have great. But Gary Trent Jr., that was his time to show, hey, Porsche, you made the right decision bringing this brother. You made the right decision bringing this fella in. And Doc, shout out to Doc for saying, listen, I got a horse on the bench who's been balling here. Yes, he's been playing so well off the bench, but you know what? We're going to go ahead and take this risk tonight and give the lead dog a chance to get starter minutes. And look at the dividends that paid out for him.
And again, when you're in the playoffs, when you're in a playoff series, minutes have to get cut. You have to make hard decisions. And you can't play the playoffs like the regular season because they're not the regular season. And so Doc Rivers, again, credit to him. I think he has more work to do, but credit to him. Finally, again, it took him down 2 games to get there. But credit to him for finally recognizing that that's what you have to do. And if Taurean Prince's minutes are cut, they're cut. If Brook Lopez minutes are cut, they're cut. Again, even Kyle Kuzma. Kuzma to me is a flurry player. He's gonna play bad in flurries. He's basically he's somebody made a tweet I thought was pretty funny. Kyle Kuzma's a player that looks like and I can't remember who it was that said it, but they said Kuzma is a player who looks like somebody told him how to, like, he never played basketball before, and somebody explained to him what the game of basketball was, and then said go play. And that's the result you get. You get these flurries of, like, that's pretty good, spin move, corner 3, good defense, tipping out for rebound. Then you get these minutes of what the hell is that? Charge, miss rotation, bad turnover. And then the rest of the time, he just run up and down the floor. Like, you get, like, that's what you get, a lot of from Kyle Kuzma. But my point there is, there are minutes where you have to use him. You have to figure out where to do. I think there was a moment where I saw him cut more than he has in the entire series. Today, I think he scored a couple baskets off just cutting to the basket and cutting to the rim. But that's up to Doc Rivers to find the best. And again, I think that's the moment, the 20 minutes. And I say this because I think if AJ Green or Gary Trent Jr. was 6'7" or 6'8", Kyle Kuzma would have a tough time getting on the court. I really do. I really think that. But because they're not, there was a moment, I believe in particular in the second quarter, where they had the 3-guard lineup going. They had, I believe, Dame, Gary, AJ, Giannis, and Brook, either Brook or Bobby. And I believe it was maybe it was Bobby or something like that. And it was Indiana was finding the mismatches. And that's why defensively, Kuzma's still going to have a role because you can't get AJ Green matched up on Pascal Siakam. Like, that is a mismatch. You can't get Gary Trent Jr. matched up on Pascal. Like, they kept finding mismatches where Kuzma can at least provide a body. He can't just back him up and lay the ball and go to the rim. Like, that's not happening. So he will find minutes where he can play. Again, I'm really at this point where last questions we're getting kind of getting to end here. Sims and Brook. Does Sims not provide enough space? I think somebody made ask in the chat. But does Sims not provide enough space into where you could just totally go away from Brook Lopez? Because I think I think that I would move out Brook Lopez for Bobby Portis, and then I would probably not. I don't know that I'd play Brook Lopez, but I think the question, if you're Doc Rivers, if your coaching staff, is, do I lose spacing if I have Damian Lillard, Gary Trent Jr., Giannis, Kuz, and Sims? But again, maybe I keep that spacing if it's Bobby instead of Sims, but that's where I'm getting close to. And I think the question is, I guess my question is, do I want the two of Sims and Kuzma on the court together where you have two quote-unquote non-shooters where the defense can really compact and clog your lane?
I think it really depends on how well Dame's playing, because if Dame is cooking and Giannis is cooking and Gary Trent Jr. is cooking, you can get by with that. But you can't have that out there with Dame being off like he was. But the thing is, we talked about earlier in the show is about who could have a step-up game. I think Kyle Kuzma still has a Kuzma game to put his mark on this series. And if you get a Kuzma and a Dame and a Giannis game together, man, we walking away up 30 in this joint.
Yeah, I don't know if we have a Kuzma game, but I agree though, and I think like to your point, he can get flurries where, and the question is that a 6-point flurry? Is that an 8 to 10 point flurry at one point in time? Because he does have that capability in those moments where he does some good things, even off.
Let me clarify a Kuzma game. It's 15, 8, and 6.
There you go.
Okay. That's what I was going to say. I was saying, the Kuzma game is not 25 plus points. That now we're reaching. We got, that would be about as likely as a Pat Bev 25 point. Yeah, that's just not going to happen with Kuzma. But I agree with that though. When you talk about 15, 8 boards, 6 assists, maybe a couple blocks or some steals or something in there, right? Some turnovers for it, something like that. Yeah, that makes a bit more sense. But I agree with you, Trey. I don't think Kuzma's putting up 25. You're not gonna get 30 from Kyle Kuzma. Not on this team.
All right, all right, Harry. We'll see you Sunday. And you know what front running means. Ben Ibaka says Bucks weren't talking when they were down this game, front running. But that again, totally. That's so untrue because even the fans start off the game. We were down in that game, and they were screaming overrated Halliburton off the rip. Down 0-2, the entire arena is screaming. Is yelling at Halliburton, saying overrated, and you know how it's going to end. So again, I totally disagree with you, Ben. Again, that is the difference of being a front runner. We're not sitting here down, it's over, woe is me. We're down 0-2, and we're still in the building talking just as much as anybody else. So again, and again, it's another thing. We say Bucks weren't talking when they were down again. They were talking, they were down they were talking in Indiana, down 0-1 and down 0-2 in Indiana. So what do you mean they weren't talking, they were down the game? I don't understand that. Karan Jeremy Kennard says, my real issue with Kuzma this series is defense. He isn't a good matchup for anyone to start lineup of the page. I disagree. I disagree with that. I thought his defense was good tonight. I thought it's been good most of the season. I think the biggest issue is miscommunications. On-ball defense, I think he's been fine. But I think, again, the difference with the Milwaukee Bucks that they've started changing is it's a switch everything. And to me, when the mentality is we're switching everything, because, again, it's so funny. The guy who points around at everybody and it's your fault, and throwing a temper tantrum on the court every night, they're basing their defense to save and help you, Brook Lopez. It's almost like he thinks everybody else is the weak link. No, it's you. We have to adjust because you can only play drop. And so you're sitting there crying and pointing around. Why didn't you? You're making it hard on everybody because we could have an easy rule, switch everything. And so, to me, Kuzma's biggest issue was I didn't think he fought hard enough around screens or made the right decision to go over or under screens, whatever that case may be. But when the decision is simple, if it's a screen, we're switching it, you don't even have to worry about fighting over it. And the difference is everybody on the court is capable of switching. So I think your weak link from Kuzma is either his off-ball presence or fighting over screens. You eliminate that. Because Doc Rivers is saying, we're switching everything. You ain't got to fight over nothing. We're switching everything. And to me, I thought Kuzma looked much better defensively when he doesn't have to worry about really fighting to beat somebody or beat somebody over a screen. It's just automatic. Rules or principles are switch, switch, switch. And you can't do that when Brook Lopez is on the floor. So it's about putting your play, and that's a Doc Rivers thing. It's about putting your players in the right position, in the right matchups, in the right movements. And again, somebody said that Siakam killed Kuzma played 20 minutes, and I don't know. I don't know when you say killed them. And again, I don't know all the time where these matchups were, who was guarding who at certain times. Again, when you say it's even tough when you say Siakam killed Kuzma or this person killed this person. Again, Corinne, they were switching everything. They literally are switching. So when every matchup is changing all over the floor every single time down the floor. So it's really tough to even say this person got killed by this one person because on every single possession they switch.
A lot of Siakam buckets were when they switched to AJ Green checking him or Dame. He was exploiting the mismatch of the switch. It wasn't on Kuz.
Right, yeah, they were again. I count 3-4 buckets in my head watching AJ Green get switched on to him, and I remember in that 3-guard lineup again. Kuz only played 20 minutes, and it wasn't like he was out there for 40 minutes guarding Siakam every single time on the floor. But there was there were plenty of matchups where you're right. Rick Carlisle found the matchup. Tyrese Halliburton found the right matchup or mismatch. And that's how they were able to get Siakam some really easy buckets. Io says the communication was there tonight. They were energetic and pressing, not lackadaisical slow because of the too obvious. And again, I agree. It makes it very easy. To me, what the math teacher always say? Keep it simple, stupid. What's KISS? PEMDAS, all that stuff. Keep it simple. If you don't have to think, okay, we're switching, but everybody's switching except for Brook. So you looking, is it Brook's man switch? Okay, communicate here because, Brook can't switch. Everybody's switching. I mean, again, keep it simple. And again, that's on Doc Rivers to put a lineup out there that could pretty much switch everything. So I thought the defense was very good. Corinne says, I'm not speaking the series. I'm not speaking for the series, by the way, not just tonight. Well, yeah, in some instances, you're correct. But again, I really do believe a lot of that goes back to Brook Lopez, honestly. Tish says Kuz is fine defense as long as there's communication on the floor. And again, the easiest way, like we said, the easiest way to do it is to switch everything. That make it easy. And again, but to do that, you got to guard. And I thought the Bucks did a good job tonight sitting down and guard. I want to thank, you know where you can do a good job of communicating that? Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill out there, Pewaukee, Wisconsin, Lakeview Boulevard. Head on out there. Enjoy yourself at Curly's every single televised game. We getting $3 bottles of pints. Ain't that right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Man. Drink them out of the table out there at Curly's. And again, enjoy yourself. Have a good time. Some good food, good eats, all of that. Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill, proud sponsor of the Cream City crossover. Yeah, man.
Need to put JT's card down on the line again and go get Gary Trent a couple beers on JT tonight, man.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. Y'all want to do the they want to do Twitter and see what Twitter's talking about today?
Yeah, let's see.
All right, let's see what we have on Twitter. See what they're getting at.
Last time we were ducking the comments, weren't we? When that was said to us?
Never duck them, but that's what they say.
Come on now.
At J Phil in Texas says the key is letting Hallie be the scorer. Don't help off him. If he scores, so be it. Go get 40, you bum. Stop helping off the 3-point shooters. And again, that's yes, J Phil, you're absolutely right. Switching on the floor stops everything because you don't have to worry about over helping and over pursuing. We're just switching it. Switch. We don't have, I need extra help and you rotate here, rotate. No, switch it. We ain't gotta worry. Sit down and guard. That's the key. Doc, you gotta be a man, sit down and guard the guy in front of you. Here's the screen. I'm taking the screener. You take my man, sit down and guard. Don't let him run right past you. That was the difference tonight. That was the total difference with the defense tonight. So yes, you're right. Stop helping. And if we're switching everything, I don't have to help off 3-point shooters. We're just switching it. Sunk345 says also the communication defense is much better tonight. Patriots like to move the ball, so it's important that the Bucks stay alert and don't get caught ball watching. Again, Sunk345 all goes back to switching. He says, notice how we made our run without certain somebodies on the floor. Also, the Bucks have to make shots to win the series. No amount of scheming can make up for players not hitting, but they did tonight. That's correct. Jules ESQ says the Bucks having shooters and mobile defenders next to Giannis worked. Even Doc has to see that now, right? J Field chimes back in, says new starting 5. Brook and Kuz can pass the sticks. Bucks in 6. Okay, that rhyme. Porque no gooey says Dame shot like shit, but contributed on defense. And Gary Trent Jr. just got paid. Brook can't play in the next one. NYC Randy says Brook can't play. Simple as that. Gary Trent, we knew in the regular season he's a big-time player. Doc, amazing rotation in the second half. Doc, you see what's working. Just do it early. At Wisconsin HFC says, I'm back in Scotland right now. Give me a Scottish accent. Somebody, what's a Scottish accent? What they doing in Scotland? Somebody got a Scottish accent for me, JT? You ain't got nothing for Scotland? No? I don't know how they talk there.
Don't they yodel?
Do they yodel? I don't know.
Do they yodel on Scotland? Don't they wear the little stocking joints?
Maybe.
They wear the little kilt. What's the kilt? The kilt?
Got bagpipes out there?
Is that the Scottish joint with the kilt? They wear the little kilt and the hat?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. He says it's currently 3:30 in the morning, but that second half was worth the lack of sleep. I'm not as down on Kuzma as some people are. He has value to the team if used properly. However, Brook and TP should not play any meaningful minutes for the remainder of the series. Drew Behringer says, Gary Trent Jr. saved the Bucks season. The formula is simple. Play Brook, Kuzma, and Prince less. Play A.J. Green and Gary Trent Jr. more. At Gabs Rosanez says, rotation won us the game. Bench held on with Giannis minutes. Prince with 3 minutes is crazy by Doc. Unexpected from that coach. Let's do a few more. At Rick Diculous says, I'm fine with Kuz if he plays within himself and plays good defense. Prince on the other hand, big time B's fall off. Jad X77 says, still need to get Brook last minutes. One of the offseason goals when we get off his contract is to sign Gary Trent Jr. for a multi-year contract. Again, that's going to be tough. It's so interesting because remember, it's so funny how watching games changes everything. Because do you remember a conversation we had maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 shows ago where we said, hey, we're going to have a limited amount of money for a mid-level exception. Would you rather try to split it and give a little bit to Gary, a little bit to Kevin Porter Jr., or would you give it all to Kevin Porter Jr.? And there's a lot of people, and I think a lot of them say, hey, no, we got to give it all to Kevin Porter Jr. Give it all to Kevin Porter Jr. And now Gary Trent's like, again, things change as things go. Gary Trent Jr. has been much better in the playoffs so far than Kevin Porter Jr. So we'll see how that goes. Last one here. Let's go at C Swagger. It says, unbelievable second half. Does Doc actually learn from the game? If he does, we can win the series. This is the last one. At Adrian Chavors says, notice Tyrese headbutt the ball in the first, then proceeded to do nothing the rest of the game. He kept his mouth shut. So there you go. That was that's what we got from Twitter. A lot of good stuff from Twitter. Twitter is happy today.
Nothing from the Wisconsin kid, huh? Like he always being here when we be getting cooked, and now
I didn't see anything from him. Does not mean he didn't say anything. But I didn't see it. So who knows? Let's do game balls. The Bucks get a 117-101 victory. Game balls from tonight, man. Where are you going? I think there's obvious places you could go here, but where are you going? We'll start with you, JT.
All right. Well, I'll do the obvious, fellas. We know who's getting this game ball tonight. My man, Gary Trent Jr. Way to step up and say, tonight is my turn. Tonight is my time to go ahead and cement my legacy in a Bucks uniform, tying team franchise record of threes made with the one and only Jesus Shuttlesworth. Those of y'all who are a little bit older know him solely as Ray Allen, but he was Jesus Shuttlesworth. That's a he got game reference. Really love what he did tonight. I mean, 7 3-pointers in that second half. Just the way he came alive, and he was feeling it tonight. He shot it from all over the place. Gary Trent Jr., this is what we need. This was the convincing win that we needed, the confidence, the fight, showing a team that was down 10 at halftime and bringing it and convincing them to come out and keep swinging and saying, listen, keep hitting him, he's going to fall. Keep hitting him, he's going to – and then look, and that's exactly what happened, especially on a night when – the Superman to our Batman, Dame Lillard, wasn't having a very strong offensive night tonight. Was impacting the game with his defense. But again, you needed another guy to come out there and get buckets for this team. Gary Trent Jr., you stepped up, sir. And for those of y'all who are just tuning in, I'm going to walk through this stat line one more again. 11 for 16 from the field, 9 for 12 from 3, 37 points, 0 assists. We don't need you to pass it if you're knocking them down, and 3 boards. My man, Gary Trent Jr., you get a game ball tonight. AKA, I'm light-skinned, but I didn't lick my lips one time during that interview. AKA, I'm over 30, but these braids are still growing, and I'm not cutting them. AKA, me and Kuzma went to the same tattoo parlor, but I didn't look at him when he was getting his, and he ain't looking at mine.
Oh, good. Good AKAs, man. There you go.
It's too late. I'm not even ready.
Did they not, though?
No.
It was just tatted to the knuckle. Both of them.
You cook, JT. You cook.
Tell me what the lie is.
Jeez. All right, so I feel like I know where you're going to go, Trey. So I'm going to go a little bit off the beaten path. I'm going to cut this joint in half. I'm going to give it to 2 guys. When you look at their stat column, you're going to look at it. You're going to be like, man, what them dudes do tonight? But I'm going to go Jericho Sims and Mr. Damian Lillard. Defensive player of the game, found a way to truly impact this game. Anytime you see the smallest dude on the court with 2 blocks, deflection, steals, he took it personal. Jalen Rose said at halftime he wanted Damian Lillard to take it personal, and he definitely did that. He took it personal and impacted that defensive end. Jericho Sims, amazing defense as usual, set great picks, rebounded the ball in traffic, and made sure they didn't get those second and third chance opportunities as much when he's on the floor. So I'm going to cut it in half and give it to those 2 brothers tonight because I know where you're going.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. I'm going to go Giannis 37, 12, and 6. 1 steal, 14 and 19, 73% from the field. My goodness. Didn't attempt a 3, and he was 9 of 10 from the free throw line, plus 24. Team high plus 24. Did have 5 turnovers tonight. But that's okay because Giannis was absolutely electric as he always is, just willing his team to victory. So Giannis Antetokounmpo gets my game ball. Giannis, AKA, I told you what I was going to do and I came and did it. AKA Series not over, a.k.a. still the freak. 117-101 Bucks beat the Pacers tonight. Any as we get to looking around the league, any final words after 117-101 victory for your Milwaukee Bucks? We'll probably maybe I'll give you guys another chance to say something else too as before we get up out of here.
Man, it's late as the food, but we up and the energy is high for Bucks fans. So we up right now. Let's keep it up to Sunday.
JC? No, yeah. No, okay. All right. Let's get to the look around tonight at 117-101 victory for your Milwaukee Bucks.
Hey, wait 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get to this look around, if you halfway watching this, turn your TVs, turn your phones, turn your computers all the way up, because as they used to say in the WWF, business is about to pick up. Go ahead, brother.
I was gonna say somebody. I think Karan Jammer said there was 100 some people in the live, and look at these likes. So get these likes up while you turn it up.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, but right now, the Minnesota Timberwolves are up 4 over the LA Lakers. There's about 7 minutes to go in that game, so there's a good basketball game going on right now. The Orlando Magic did what the Milwaukee Bucks did tonight. They get a win at home, and that series is 2-1, 95-93. I didn't see how that ended. I don't know if the Bucks game was going on while it was going on, and just part of the draft, some of that too. But yeah, so that's how it ends, 95-93 for Orlando. They get the series to 2-1. We'll see who goes up 2-1 in the Lakers and Minnesota series. Bron has 35 points right now. But in other news, wow. I cannot believe. To me, this is the story of the NFL. This is I'm flabbergasted. I don't have words. Before the NFL draft started, Shedeur was plus 200 to go. I'm not talking about before, because I think at some point everybody knew Cam Ward was going. But I'm talking about when the boards first came out. Shedeur was plus 200 to go first overall. Shedeur Sanders, through 2 days in the NFL draft, has not been drafted. There is, again, it's fair to say, I don't know, is he going to be drafted at all? I don't know if that's, I would think, again, I would kind of acknowledge, would be like, yes, he is, but I would have said there's no way he doesn't get drafted in the first round. Then I would have said there's definitely no way he doesn't get drafted in the second round. And I would have said there's no way in hell we will be looking at on the end going into Saturday, and Shedeur Sanders is not still on the board. Mel Kiper had Shedeur as his number 1 overall player. This is I'm trying to think of another. Has there ever been? Have we ever seen a slide like this? Like Lamar Jackson slid from topping around to 32. Mm-hmm. Have we ever seen a player slide from? Because again, there was a question as to whether Shedeur, even after it had already been determined that Cam Ward was going 1. Well, is somebody going to jump up past New York Giants to try to get him at 2? Is New York going to get him at 3? And then he got to, okay, well, if he doesn't go, 9 to the Saints, well, he's got to go 21 to Pittsburgh. Like, that's what it got. And now, so again, I'm at it. I don't know. I'm gonna sit here. Everybody's passed on him. I believe there have been 5 quarterbacks that have now been selected. Is that correct? I believe there have been 5 quarterbacks that have now been selected. One quarterback was selected. He threw a damn pass in the combine, and I don't know what shit. I'm at a loss for words, is what I'm saying right now. But I'll say this. I will say this. Prior to tonight, I thought there was a conspiracy. I don't know if conspiracy is the right word, but I thought there was collusion. I thought there was this, hey, we got to send a message to Dion and Shedeur, and this is a lot. I'm coming out of that now. There is something else that everybody saw, and that anonymous report that, Shedeur had something that, they didn't like the way he acted. There is truth to that. This is not NFL GMs want to win bad enough that Again, could there be a little bit of I ain't taking? If it's all 32 teams, no. Something else is at play. But I'll say it, and it's again, like you said, JT, it's not on the field. It's something off the field.
Yeah.
They clearly don't like something about his character. I don't know if it's about his dad. I don't know what it is, but there's something about Shedeur Sanders that they do not like. He's going to play. He's going to play for somebody. There's no way. He's going to play for somebody. Because the talent is there. But and maybe it gets to the 5th, 6th round where somebody says, okay, he should be humbled by this. And let's bring him in. Let's see what we got. Because, again, there's enough talent that I've seen from him. There's enough talent there where if you're picking him now in the 4th round and beyond, to me, the reward is now about to outweigh the risk because of the talent alone. So as I said, I'll let you take. I guess I feel for him. This is tough, and again, there's just no way they didn't. There is no way they thought this was happening. I mean, again, this is a fall that's unprecedented. Shedeur was on the field. Remember, he was on the field wearing New York Giants cleats.
Yeah.
What am I seeing? I don't have any word. What am I?
So look, there's a couple things that I think are clear to me. And by the way, yes, we've seen players slide like this, but there's typically been an explanation, right? For example, there's a few years ago, this is probably 5-6 years ago, LIL Collins, remember the tackle from LSU?
Yeah, he was.
But he had a murder investigation, right? So you had an explanation here. Ike Oberlin, there was a cornerback from Oregon that was supposed to go lottery, and he tore his Achilles or ACL when he was doing a pre-draft workout. Okay, there was an explanation as to why this guy slid. Geno Smith, there was an explanation as to why these guys slid. The interesting thing about Shedeur is that you don't really have an explanation. Everybody seems to be a bit tight-lipped as to why that man has not been drafted yet. It's not football issues. I certainly don't think it's football issues. I think we can all sit up here and look at the tape and argue that, yes, he's more talented than Jackson Dart, right? Like, yes, he's a better QB overall in college than Jackson Dart, who the Giants traded back into the 1st round to get. That's not the question. I think the question at this point is, one, what did Shedeur do? And not just what Shedeur did, whatever's happened, Shedeur had to have done this between the last game, was the Alamo Bowl that Colorado was playing, and the draft. What did you do in that time period to turn off a bunch of teams? Because basically, when they give you that early 1st round investment, a lot of times that's because they see you as their franchise quarterback. Yes, we are a guy who we are trusting. We're gonna entrust you. We're gonna trust you to lead our franchise one day, to be one of the faces of our franchise. At this point, all 32 teams, and we know all 32 teams are not created equal. There are some teams that are awful. There are some teams whose coaches are on the absolute hot seat. There are teams right now who are rookie quarterback, and they buy them time a couple of years, and they pass on that opportunity not once, not twice, but 3 different times to do so. And you've picked quarterbacks who, quite frankly, are a bit less talented. Are we going to sit up here and act like Dylan Gabriel's as talented?
Hell no.
Are we going to really sit up here and act like Jalen Milroe has remotely the amount of polish that Shedeur has as a quarterback? No. They pick substantial projects. But here's the thing. Shedeur Sanders, arguably top 10 pick, top 15 pick. I figured once the draft started, like, okay, maybe he goes late 1st round. And for Shedeur Sanders to be going now the 4th round at the earliest, he did something. The story may not have come out. And the question I do ask, and this is the one thing that I've talked about this before, with his father as his coach at every level, and with doing that, you know how it is with your pops, who definitely wants to see you do things, definitely wants to see you succeed, wants to raise you up, wants to do this. But that's a hard push-pull relationship between coach and dad, right? At some point, it's like, look, I just wonder, was Shedeur maybe able to get away with things that typically guys would not have? Was there things going on behind the scenes here? Were there conflict? We don't really know. And until reports come out to clarify as to why this slide happened, because nobody's talking about it, we're left to speculate. But what I will say is this. My prediction for Shedeur, I think he goes to a team that doesn't need a quarterback. I think he goes to a team that has an established starter. And I think Shedeur gets a chance to just sit on the bench and just refine himself and get better for a little while now. Before the draft, I would have never thought about that. But at this point, would you be surprised if Sean McVay took him, let him sit behind Matt Stafford for a year or two and say, listen, It's going to be your show in a little bit.
Mm.
I'm going to tell you right now, if that happens, that'd be the best thing for Shador that could happen, period.
It would.
Right? You telling me that the 49ers can't say, okay, Brock Purdy, I don't know about this. You got one more year in your deal. We got to figure this thing out. You know what? We're gonna bring Shador in here and see what's happening. We're gonna play this game, but all right, you want $60 million, we only can pay you $55. Fine, this could be your last year. We got Buddy waiting in the wings. I mean, listen, I think the possibilities are certainly endless. A team like Seattle, a team like Las Vegas.
Seattle took
Milrow. So you're right. A team like Las Vegas, sit behind Geno. Hey, Geno, I know Geno signed an extension, but you know how these usually go. 1-2 years, we ain't got no more dead cap, but let's get it. I think that's what's going to happen for Shador. I think that I'm convinced teams like the Browns, all these teams that are bad, I don't think they take Shador. I just don't think they can do it because for whatever reason, I don't think they want to assume that risk. But somebody like Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh, does Mike Tomlin take it? I'm surprised Tomlin hasn't taken him already. He took him in the fourth round. You got Mason Rudolph out there. You can't tell anybody you're serious about winning games with Mason Rudolph.
It's crazy. You know who I think he ends up going to now? I think the owner who has the most cojones to do something like that, and also doesn't really care about draft boards and Jerry Jones. I think at some point Jerry Jones be like, oh, okay. Oh, y'all letting it do this? Oh, okay, cool. This is what we gonna
Here's
do.
the thing though. They just took Joe Milton. They just traded for Joe Milton too from New England, who's shown some promise too. Their QB room becomes a bit crowded at that point. Is that really do you want to take Shador Sanders and have him on the practice squad for, I just don't know if that's the right. That's because I was thinking that too, but I just don't know if that works.
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe San Diego, does Jim Harbaugh take him and say, all right, you can back up Herbert, right? Like I mean, Jets, the New York Jets are a perfect team. You can't tell me you're serious about Fields being your franchise guy. I mean, let's be honest here. You don't believe that.
So I think that he actually another good fit for him would be the Miami Dolphins. You got Tua, a great wide receiving core, great tight end situation, decent running back situation. Tua obviously has the injury thing. I wasn't present for any of these interviews or anything else like that, but allegedly there was a lot of arrogance shown by Shador during some of the interview processes, and the word on the street is he interviewed horribly. I can't confirm or deny that. One thing that I will say is, in a very Deion way, it was almost like he was telling certain GMs he wasn't going to go there and stuff like that. And I think that the NFL is teaching Deion a lesson, and the person that suffers from this is Shador to some extent. I think some of the stuff is on Shador's arrogance as well. However, I want to ask both of you gentlemen, if this brother was not Shador Sanders, if he was Justin Sherlock Jr., would anybody give a damn? And when you're just looking at just his quarterback skills and none of the other stuff that comes along with him.
No.
Well, to be fair though, if he was Justin Spurlock Jr., not to take anything away from Justin Spurlock Sr., but if he was Justin Spurlock Jr., I'm not sure that it would have been as close. His moves would have been as closely tracked, right? Because here's the thing about this. When you're Deion Sanders and you want your program under the microscope, you want your program, you want the lights, right? You want the attention, you want the fanfare, hype. This is what you do. But understand that becomes a double-edged sword. Because Trey says this all the time. You can't ask for the attention and get mad when you get it.
True.
You can't do that, right? And so I say that to say that Deion did all this and he's done all these wonderful things and raised so much money for Colorado. Deion has done just a remarkable job as that coach of Colorado. You can't take that away from him too. But the question is, did you bring a level of scrutiny to Shador to where people are starting to analyze and then overanalyzing and people are forming opinions based on what they see because they're seeing so much of him and they're seeing this, that now when Shador's meeting them, he has to overcome some preconceived notions. If people thought he was entitled, if people thought he was arrogant. And the one thing you kind of wonder is the slightest hint of that feeds into that, and that's that confirmation bias people have. People like, see, I told you he was. See, that's what I'm wondering if that was some of the stuff that was going on too. The other thing I'll say, though, is that the quarterback is the most important position in all of sports. We've known this. We've said this before, too. We expect our quarterbacks to act like CEOs to an extent, right? Or we expect our quarterbacks to have a level of authenticity in the way they present themselves, like Lamar Jackson, perfect example. So, well, he's not arrogant. He just maybe not as polished, but okay, that's him. What we haven't had is a quarterback who is uber confident in a way that Shador was, because Shador made millions of dollars in NIL. He had to watch. He was rolling around in the Phantom. He was this. He was never phased. He was. We haven't really seen a quarterback, especially black quarterback, come off in a way where they look. It's clear that there's more to his life than football. It's clear that he's not trying to make it out of a situation, right? It's clear that he had a situation that was pretty good, and then he's got upbringing, he's got pedigree, he's got all this other stuff. And I think to an extent, people didn't really know what to do with that because you've never seen that before, right? And so I think there's a few things going on. It'll be really interesting to see when Schefty, because I bet it's him who drops the report as to why Shador Sanders has slid to the 4th round. Because quite honestly, guys, I'm a bit baffled with the information out there right now.
Io says, yeah, I believe his name was not Sanders. No way he falls so far. Hunt Jackalate says, Goody don't care about draft boards as well, and they love a good backup quarterback. Yeah, and then Quackby says the
We
quarterback.
got Brother Malik, though. We good.
Quackby says the quarterback from Louisville is 26, which again, that doesn't make just insane to me that kid
is 42.
Right. But yeah, no, to answer your question, Justin, you say, if that was, your son, and I get what you're saying, JT, but yeah, I just don't see it, man. I don't, because to me, the difference is, even when you talk about, well, how this person interview, what they look like here, and Ed Duggar says, Kaepernick, I don't, and again, I think that's what I thought initially. I don't think that anymore. I think there was truly something that happened, but I think that, like, the difference is, even when you have these interviews and you say this person didn't interview well, the difference is, outside of a regular interview process, we see your film. So even though everything doesn't, so in the regular interview process, when we think about it, everything happens behind closed doors, and you can kind of make these decisions like, oh, this person was terrible. The difference is, we see the work product that you put out. And your work product, which is also a part of this interview process, is much better than some of the peers that have been drafted ahead of you. So that is why it is kind of odd that so much weight, and that's why it's like, what did he actually do in those interviews? Because so much weight clearly has been put on it over what we saw on the field.
But Trey, here's the only thing that I'll say about this. Poor interviews doesn't explain a slide to the 4th round. That doesn't. Poor interviews may get you out the 1st round. Poor interviews. If you interview poorly, and by poor interviews, the question is, did you not show up, or did you just show up there and be like, yeah, I'm not answering that question. I'm not going to be there for you to draft. Did you like? There's
right. To Justin's point, yes.
Because here's what I think happened. I don't think it's a problem of, oh, he's going to be a problem in the locker room or this and that. Maybe this is a situation where coaches and owners are like, yo, can you even work with this dude? Can you stand this guy? Is this someone you think you can work with? You see what I'm saying? Like I maybe that's what I don't know, but I just still don't. You don't slide to the 4th round without doing something. Who did you piss off? Who did you say? You must have went in the, if you went in the interview room and just completely dropped your ass, it's like, I'm talking to every. If you went to the interview, you dropped your pants, had your ass out, and you faced the wall and was like, y'all gonna talk to my ass, and I'm gonna answer questions. Okay, that makes sense, right? But like, generally speaking, bad interviews that may get you out the 1st round, but that don't drop you all the way to the 4th. You know what I mean? Like,
he is he does come across in his, I'm just on regular interviews on camera. He comes across as very cocky. There's no doubt about it. He comes across as very arrogant. In some ways, I like it. I think there's some questions about whether, somebody said, I can't remember who talks about it, but they were saying like, yeah, I don't want my quarterback acting like a wide receiver. And
that's true.
Shador has a lot of wide receiver in him. That's really his personality is. He has a wide receiver personality in a quarterback. But again, the skill is there. Everything's there. It's just crazy that he slid this far. And I agree with you, JT. It doesn't. It seems like, but it kind of reminds me of, in not the same way. And I know everybody says, oh, you bring it back to Cam. But it kind of reminds me of Cam Newton, where I think Cam could have there's no doubt that there's a point where Cam was not, even we're talking about Cam would always say, there's not 64 quarterbacks better than me. It's not that, but it was like, yeah, we're not gonna even we don't even want you to come in and be a backup. We don't want it. That again, is there some of that? Like, we don't want this guy in the building.
That's the I was gonna say, because the difference with Cam though, nobody ever questioned Cam's work ethic.
Right.
Nobody ever questioned Cam's coachability. Nobody ever questioned Cam's locker room presence. Nobody ever doubted Cam's ability at any way, shape, or form after he left Florida. Nobody ever doubted his ability to go in there and lead. His ability to go in there and be the face of the franchise. Nobody ever doubted that. But I agree. Listen, the Cleveland Browns, I would say Kevin Stefanski's seat is probably amongst the hottest of hot seats in the NFL, right? Like, are we comfortable saying
Sure.
that Cleveland Browns, Kevin Stefanski's probably amongst the hottest of hot seats in the NFL, right? And Kevin Stefanski went with Dylan Gabriel in his QB room. So you got Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco, and Dylan Gabriel, and you're going to tell me right now you're serious about winning more than 5 games.
Well, do you think it's part of that? Remember, early on in the season, Deion was like, yeah, I might have to step in. To your point, Justin, when you were saying, maybe he was telling teams he wouldn't go there. Remember when Deion, I'm going to have to step in if the wrong team want to draft my son. I'll step in. Yeah, I'm saying that. I will step in.
And that could also, and that's what I'm talking about. The spotlight, all the attention and everything else coming to you. You're bringing this in. People are watching your every word. Is that becoming a double-edged sword at this point?
Yeah, well, it's a good question. A lot of questions, and we'll see where he ends up going. I don't know, man. I don't know. But it is interesting. It's going to be talked about, and wherever he does end up going, I just can't. I couldn't see him slipping past first 3 rounds. It's like I can't see him slipping past 4. But
listen, I thought the Giants, when they traded back in, they were going to go Deion. They were going to go. I just knew that the Giants were going to trade back into round 1, or the Browns were going to trade back in round 1 and pick up Shedeur. When they picked up Jackson Dart, again, the only person in the league whose seat got to be hotter than Kevin Stefanski's has got to be Brian Daboll's in New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, when they went with Jackson Dart, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand it. I know we want to talk about some of these Packers picks coming up, but I really hope for Shedeur's sake, can the man just get drafted like ASAP? Can he be one of the first 10 picks off the board in the 4th round? Put this man out of his misery, please, right? Unless this is a situation where once he goes to the 5th round, if he's like, nah, we'd rather just go undrafted so we can pick our destination.
Yeah, you would think that. But now, going to the Packers, and we'll wrap this thing up because it was getting late. But I will talk about the Packers pick, the wide receiver. I thought it was an excellent pick, and I didn't see any of the other picks in the drafts. I don't know who they picked outside of Golden there, but because I was watching the Bucks. But again, I thought that was an excellent pick. Got good kid, catches the ball with his hands. Can move, can get around. I thought I had him rated pretty high on my board. But again, I like the pick. I like the pick for him. I really do. And Jordan, you got to do that for Jordan Love. Got to get yourself another quarterback. We talked about a bunch of twos that the Green Bay Packers have. To me, outside of him, what is he, about 6 feet tall? Outside of being outside of that. I really like him. So good for them. And I think he's gonna be a big addition to their football team. My biggest problem was with your boy Christian Watson's pops and his brother talking trash after the draft pick. They out there doing the Aaron Rodgers, mad because Jordan Love gets picked and all upset. Is it Tazim? I haven't heard of it. Tazim. And he went to Howard, so I hate to talk about him, but dog, again, this is the last thing I'll say, and we'll talk about this more another time. Have you seen the recent interviews that Michelle Obama's been doing?
No. I've seen Instagram clips of them, but I haven't seen the full thing yet.
I'm not a fan, and I'm biggest Michelle Obama person. I love Michelle Obama, excellent first lady. Love Michelle Obama. Love the Obama. Love her. I wish she ran for president. I think she'd beat. I think we'd be in a different situation if she ran for president. I think one of the most likely people ever. She has started this interview tour where she's doing a podcast now. Which again, first lady doing a podcast talking to Tracy Ellis Ross about dating young men. I understand it's a little bit beneath the former first lady to me, but okay. But that's another story for another time. We'll talk about it later. But she had this point where she had this other, she was talking, and I believe she was talking to, can't remember who it is. She's talking to another lady. And she's saying that she's talking about how she didn't want to go to what's the name's funeral, President Carter. She didn't want to go to Jimmy Carter's funeral. She wouldn't go to the inauguration, and she's like, "I'm as a black woman now. I'm tired. I'm fed. I ain't got to do nothing no more." And I just I don't have to do. Sometimes I don't want to do the right thing. I'm looking at you like, ma'am, First Lady. Sometimes you got to do the right thing. I just don't see any other first ladies coming out here doing, and I hate that she's the first black one out here, and you the first one got a problem with it. You have to. That's the thing about being the first lady. You got to do first lady duties. That's what you do. You wave, say hi. You put together some type of program about meals and fitness, and you are in a role to support. Sorry. So now I bring this back to Tazim. You are in a role to support. I talk all day long about sports, football, basketball, all the time. If my son, you talk about, Justice Skerlock Jr., if my son Scout, if he gets to the league, I told my wife today, I said, please, my only role if Scout gets to the NFL is to support him, the organization, the teammates, everything about I can talk all the shit in the world I want to behind the scenes with my wife, with my parents, with my son. We can talk with his sisters. Man, I can't believe they would do something like that. That's stupid. All of that. If I'm still talking on a podcast or any type of media site, man, Matthew Golden's gonna be. That's gonna be great. It's gonna be, man. Oh man, I can't wait till you see. He's gonna be an excellent addition to the team. Him, Watson, everybody. We gonna be bought. Man, Jordan loves. That's how you talk about this, man. That's stupid, man. It's an idiot. Idiot team. What are y'all doing, man? It just looks stupid. And again, my point about the first lady, sometimes you have to do the right thing. And the right thing is when you have a kid, when you have a family member, you have whatever your spouse, family member, whatever's doing, if you're not in the spotlight, you support. You take a back seat. Listen, I don't care. Like T. Morant, T. Morant act a fool, but at least he ain't running. He just jumping around getting drunk. I don't mind. Like I say, it makes a fool of something, but I don't mind it. You're there to support. You're not there to criticize what the coach doing and whatever. That's not your role, man. Talk about other stuff. That's not your role.
Hang on, because I don't want to cut you back. Give everybody some context as to what you're talking about right now, because I think some people may have missed what happened.
Wait.
Go ahead.
One thing, because before you go into that, I'm sure he's going to get big mad, because I just want to give you our other two picks real quick before you go any further. Savion Williams,
wide receiver from TCU.
They took another wide receiver?
I bet you
I didn't know that.
And then second round pick was Anthony Belton, the tackle from NC State. Go ahead. Sorry.
Wow, I didn't know they picked another wide receiver.
All right. But so Trey, give everybody some context as to what happened here, as to why we're talking about this.
Yeah, and Hunt Jackson says whole wide receiver room on notice. Exactly.
It should be.
Basically, what happened was, I believe it was his brother. There's another gentleman on this podcast, and then his father, who were on this podcast, and they're talking. They're just doing a live stream during the draft. And essentially, once the pick comes, they're watching the draft. Once the pick comes in, the brother says, kind of scream, this is an idiot. This team's so idiot. I can't believe these idiots did that. And that's right before the pick comes in. Then the pick comes in, it got real quiet, and the dad, what I know, he said something to the effect of, they're going to get exactly what's coming to him. I believe he did say he hoped the kid did well, but he said they're going to get exactly what's coming to him. Again, it's just a bad look. That's all. It's a very bad look for a family member of a player to do that, because again, to me, and again, I have no indication that there's any issues in the locker room for the record, I don't believe this has anything to do with Christian Watson and I don't say how he feels, but at least how he portrays himself to the team. And I don't think he has I've not heard anything he has any issues, relationships, whatever. But from the outside looking in, when your family member is doing that, it makes me believe that you have those feelings too, because you've got to get along with those teammates. And all it does to me is put you in a bad spot, because I'll tell you this, if I'm the family member of Golden, if I'm the family member, I don't want to be in a family friend section with you. I don't want to be with you, because no, I don't really want to be, because that's the thing, I can do that too. Because that's the thing. What if I'm Golden's dad and I say, what if I'm on my stream and I say, yeah, good thing he went there, because that receiver room, woo, they have some problems over there. Yeah, they hurt over there all the time. What if he was doing it? I guarantee you Tazim would have a problem with that. But don't you think he would have a problem with that? So right, it would be stupid for his dad, for anybody to do that, because he could say that. Yeah, we glad. Hey man, how you feel? We glad we went there because we know we gonna play. We know we gonna play when we get there because they ain't got no receivers over there. What if he said that? Then it would be a problem.
So to be clear here, because I want to give Christian the benefit of the doubt. Christian Watson's dad is on Twitter, and Packer fans, respect him as a voice of ball. I get it. He played for the team. You guys may have known him as Tim Watson when he was playing for the Packers too. And he does not comport himself to be the official spokesperson for Christian Watson. So I certainly think I'm going to say that what he says is probably independent of what Christian says. Having said that, Packer fans probably do not necessarily see him as a voice of authority or a voice of reason, but Packers fans like some of his takes, and I think people do that. Having said that, if you do know you have that platform and you do know that, you have a wide receiver room full of guys here, to say something like that about somebody who's coming into that is a bad look. Like there's no way, shape, or form that is a bad look, right? And I mean, it's not Christian himself, but what, you scared of competition? Here's the thing.
Right.
These Packer wide receivers, here's what I will say. From Reed to Wicks to Dobbs to Watson, y'all have all had numerous different seasons to show you could be the guy, right? For whatever reason, you've had numerous different reasons to show you can be the guy. And if it's been injuries or just ineptitude, head cases, whatever it is, or just inconsistency or not, they've all flashed and they've all shown that they have the ability to be the guy. And then they've all shown they have the ability to disappear or be, incredibly ineffective as well, right? So at the end of the day, I think you needed an upgrade at that position. And I think any and everybody who's watching, especially folks who watch that playoff game, could say that. Now, you'll have the people that want to argue that the wide receiver core is fine. It clearly is not, right? Now, there are some people who are saying that with this as is, it's now a very deep wide receiver room, and you could maybe argue that too. But here's the thing. They took 2 wide receivers in the draft already through the first 3 rounds. So somebody's got to go, right? And by somebody, I mean somebody's has got to go. Because it looks like maybe there's going to be a philosophical shift. Now, people are not in the golden pick because he's a little bit small and he doesn't block. I'm not taking you in the first round because you block. I mean, I'm just telling you, right? I'm not doing it. And I'm not picking you at under 6 feet for you to block. I'm picking the guy that went 4.2, had a 10-yard split of under 1.5, right? Under 1.5. The guy who can create plays in space, the guy who can get all 3 levels, the guy who can get separation, who can take the top off of defenses too. And he can show you what he can do. Oh, by the way, he runs a legitimate 4.2, not a 4.2 that your mama told you about, a 4.2 you can go and watch, right? That's who I picked in the draft. And quite honestly, I think he's going to do nothing but help elevate this Packers offense. I really do. I know Justin talked about Jordan Love being hurt last year, so they were a bit more run heavy. But at the end of the day, now you pick the guy to come in and be the guy. And that puts everybody, like Hunt Jackett said, on notice. You got to come out there. You got to compete. But I tell you this, don't be running your mouth and don't be sour because the league that's predicated on always trying to find your replacement went out there and found some guys that's going to replace some of y'all.
Yep.
All right, get out there. Compete. Show you what you got. I would love to. I've been a Christian Watson fan. The man tore his ACL. I don't know when he's going to be back this year. But quite honestly, I can't factor you into this year's plans. I don't think anybody can. I mean, maybe you have an Adrian Peterson type bounce back. You come back in week 10, week 11, week 12, and you're just balling out of control. Maybe not, though. Maybe you're not ready. Maybe there's a snag in your rehab. There's nothing wrong with the Packers making this pick. I hope Watson gets another contract. Maybe you give him a 1-year deal, give him a chance to prove himself, because I think it will be awesome to have now with the new draft pick, 2 6'4" wide receivers, and then you get guys like Reed and Golden who can absolutely fly as well. But at the end of the day, you got to come out there and you got to compete. And if your family's out of pocket and doing that, I don't understand why they would do that. But, you got to wrangle that because that is bogus. Like, there's no way that is bogus. And like Trey said, you shouldn't be out there putting film out there, putting that product out there, trying to criticize this when your son got to be in the locker room and then trying to purport yourself as the voice of reason for the Packers. What is that? Like, it just makes absolutely no sense. You create attention for yourself, and that's loser behavior.
I am super excited about all the Packers picks. Thing is, man, like, you got to put your nuts up. Just straight up. Put your nuts up and ball. If you ain't going to do that, then shut up. And if anything, man, This ain't no disrespect to his pops. Like I said, HBCU alum, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, you were in the NFL. You understand it's a business. You cannot leave that cupboard bare and wait for Christian to come back. You're doing yourself a disservice. I think the Golden Kid's going to be good. I think the brother from TCU is going to be good. I'm even more excited about Anthony Beckton, though. Like, if you watch some of that NC State stuff, he's the Bobby Portis of NC State football. Anytime a fight breaks out or something like that, he's a dude in there smacking helmets around and stuff like that. You need a dog in that wide receiver room, like Mr. Golden says he is, and you need dogs on that offensive line. Now we got to get a couple more on that defensive line, and we good to go, man. We're going to beat the hell out of what that boy name is. What your boy name is in Philadelphia? That little boy that be barking all around? What that Chihuahua name is?
Well, Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, that dude. That little doggy. We're going to knock him out next year. We beating everybody.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, so good on the Packers, and we'll see what happens. Day 3 should be fun as the draft continues on. Did want to know, Eric Name tweeted out talking about Giannis in his press conference. He after he talked about how big a night Gary Trent had, and maybe this is a message to Tyrese Halliburton. He said, quote, "Be humble in victory. Be humble in victory. Be humble in victory." He said it 3 times. I didn't say it. He said it. He said, "We have a lot of games ahead of us." So it's your be humble in victory. Be humble in victory. 3 times he says, "Be humble in victory." Again, that to me sounds like a direct shot at Tyrese Halliburton, telling him be humble in victory. And then again, there's your little warning along with it. Does he ain't say, "Oh, Bucks and Fight is gonna be over in a couple of..." We have a lot of games ahead of us. So that's a little message to little Tyrese.
Was that a shot fired, or did he drop a grenade on him? I'm just asking for John Moran.
Yeah, something. Yeah, he did little breadcrumbs, did a little something there. Timberwolves got the win tonight as well. Man, Anthony Edwards, he had 29 tonight. Luka only 17. Maybe Nico knew what he was doing. Maybe Nico cooked. Maybe Nico said, Nico is somewhere laughing like,
Hey, the one thing that gets me about that story though with Nico though, think about this for a second, right? Somebody's still not telling the full story on this. Whatever the story was, whatever the breaking point was, whatever the move was to get rid of Luka, Nico, for all the stuff he's going through, is not spilling the beans on why they made the move when they did.
I think I know. Here's what I truly believe. They think that, again, this new CBA, this is why, and this will be another conversation for after the season, whatever happens to the Bucks. This will be a conversation that we get into. This new CBA kills you for some of the things that the old CBA didn't do. This is why the Milwaukee Bucks are structured the way they are. And everybody says, "Oh, the roster construction around Giannis is bad." No, it's just that the NBA has turned into, you need to build your team like Oklahoma City. You need to build your team like Cleveland. You need to build your team, dare I say, like Indiana. Like, that's what the NBA has turned into. It's gone away from, you need to build your team with a big 3, like OKC back in the day, even though those are homegrown, so I don't really count that. But like the Miami Heat when they won a championship, or any of these big 3s that you think the Celtics when they had their big 3. The NBA has gone away from that model because of this new CBA. And in a new CBA, if you're paying a Luka Doncic max money, then you only have you either need to have just him, and you're trying to build around that. Which, again, the reason it doesn't make sense is because they didn't get any picks for it, which would have been better, but that's beside the point. But if you have to be sure that you have, that's why, so for example, like Trae Young, there's not a chance I would give Trae Young a supermax. And again, I don't know if he's eligible for whatever max he's eligible for. Not a chance I would give him the supermax. Because again, you get closer and closer to that luxury tax and to that repeater tax, the first and second apron. So you have these aprons that come into play. It ain't just like you're paying them and then you can keep moving. So I think what it was is there was a legitimate question about, can I win a chance? Even though he gone to a finals and the Western Conference Finals, which is why it makes it crazy. I think there's a legitimate question of, is he really worth all of this? Because that he is now, you basically have to build your team and all you got is Luka, maybe you can bring one guy. But again, you're gonna have to structure your team kind of like OKC, or like I said, or Indiana to continue having the success that you have. And I think they got spooked by the prospect of Luka Doncic is the franchise. We're giving him everything. Keys are his. Again, I think you're gonna see a lot of teams have to make that decision about whether their number one is truly a number one. Like, just because you are, like, okay, for example, Tyrese Halliburton. I don't think Tyrese Halliburton is good enough to win a championship as your number one player. Could I give Tyrese Halliburton, let's say he makes another or third All NBA or whatever, would I pay Tyrese Halliburton supermax money? Like, if he was worth $60 million or whatever, hell no. I wouldn't do it. Not if I don't think I'm ready to win a championship right now. So it worked for the Boston Celtics, but again, they're paying Jaylen Brown, and again, they won a championship, but they're paying Jaylen Brown as if he's like a superstar. And sometimes he is, but he's not. So I don't know. I just think I think that's what they looked at and they saw it and they go, yeah, no. But again, I think the way they went about it was wrong. But I could see doing it. But yeah, the return would have had to be much, much, much greater than just Anthony Davis and whatever else they got, the couple pieces they got for him. But I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, if the Lakers, Lakers lose the series, there's gonna be a lot of questions that come up. And right now they're down 2-1 to the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are now favored in the series.
Podcaster better coach.
He's talking about JJ Redick. Hey, and like I said, I promise you, I'm coming on here. If they lose, if the Lakers lose, I'm coming to defend Darvin Ham's good name. I'm coming to defend guard. They better hope they get to the West Conference Finals. I'm coming on here to defend Darvin Ham's good name. If they don't, Bucks win tonight, 117-101. They beat the Indiana Pacers. This series is now 2-1. A little bit of life for your Milwaukee Bucks. Good win for your Bucks. Want to appreciate everybody for joining us tonight as the Bucks get a win, 117-101. We'll see you again Sunday. Chris King will be here. We'll be back. He was working tonight. I know he was watching, so appreciate it. Appreciate all of you. I will give you guys a chance. One final word before we get out of here. If you want anything, 117-101. Bucks get a huge victory over the Indiana Pacers and basically save everything. Because, we're talking about blowing it up, all this kind of talk. Bucks needed one tonight. They get a 16-point victory over the Indiana Pacers, and they live to fight another day to try to get a win and get this thing back to all square before heading back to Indiana. If you do that, it's a 3-game sprint to the finish, and you never know how that's going to end. But any final words after 117-101 win for the Milwaukee Bucks?
Hey, man, feel good about this. Enjoy this, Bucks fans. Need you out there cheering loud again on Sunday. Let's tie the series up at 2-2. Let's keep this momentum going. You got your rallying cry tonight. You got your fight back. Who's going to step up the next game? Let's see. Gary Trent Jr. did his part. Bobby Portis, I'm looking at you, big fella. Bobby Portis was good. Dang, let's get them legs under you. You ain't got to give me 25, but I need at least 18, 19 from you. Come on now, let's get it, fellas. Got these Pacers within striking distance. Man, looking forward to winning this game on Sunday. Let's tie this thing back at 2-2, make this thing 0-0, and let's win this series.
So we fast forward now to Sunday, and Sunday is the biggest game of this series, and it's the biggest game of the year. And that's what we're going to keep doing for these next few games, hopefully. Just an amazing effort tonight. Everything JT just said, I don't have anything else to add on that. But one final thing, shout out to Melvin Gordon at the draft with the coldest Brewers coat I've probably ever seen in life as he announced the Chargers pick. See y'all Sunday.
Yeah, man. Again, like you said, Justin, biggest game of the season, biggest game of the year, biggest game of the series right here coming up on Sunday. And that's how you got to treat it. You got the formula. That's what I say. You got the formula. And to me, the biggest person moving forward, Quackney says, Quack22 says Bucks in 6. The biggest person moving forward in the series is Doc Rivers. I say 2 is Doc Rivers and Damian Lillard. But Doc Rivers continue doing. Today was the best game. You outcoached Rick Carlisle tonight. So right now, not only is the series 2-1, it's 2-1 Rick Carlisle over Doc Rivers too. So Doc Rivers outcoached this man again, shut some people up, outcoach Rick Carlisle. Outcoach Rick Carlisle to the rest of the series. And I think the Bucks win. And then Damian Lillard, man, I need a Dame game. I need a Dame game. You continue to build and build and build. It's gonna come. It's gonna come. I don't know if it's gonna be game 4. I don't know if it's a 6-game series, 7-game series, whatever. The Dame game is coming. I agree. I don't think he's right all the way yet. I think he's building himself back up into it, but he's had 2 games now. And again, find ways to impact. If it can't be on the opposite side of the ball, find a way defensively. You're still creating a lot of room, creating a lot of separation, creating a lot of space and gravity by just the type of player you are. The shot will fall. Keep shooting it and get to the basket, man. Use your quickness. Use your speed. Use your IQ. Play some good basketball. Let me see how many turnovers Damian Lillard have tonight. 1. I'll take that. 1 turnover a night plus 16. Keep playing, man. Let's keep playing. Let's finish this thing off. Let's go. Let's win game 4 Sunday. And man, I'm ecstatic thinking about winning this series. And you win on Sunday, the entire the vibes will shift for sure. But the vibes will start to shift. And I think, you win Sunday. The tides will turn. And I think the people in Indiana will get them booty holes get tight. Them booty holes get tight. It's Cream City crossover. Booty holes brown. They getting tight. It's after midnight, so I can do that. Man, we appreciate everybody for watching tonight. Could have been in the world, but you were here with us, and we thank you for it. No on your T's and Q's Saturday. Still a lot of all NFL draft coverage from 97.3 The Game. So check out Zabe and all them boys. We'll probably drop. I think I try to drop I'll probably try and drop the Shador clip and then the clip on Green Bay. Hopefully Tazim don't find it. If he does, he'll probably say something.
If he does, look, just being honest. Take the first one. Like, if he finds it,
he will not be the first one. But we'd invite him on this show if he wants to come on.
Listen, right, sure. and it ain't nothing personal. We just calling it how we see it. It is what it is. Like it's not an indictment on who he is as a man or anything or his family. It's not that. We're just saying that you basically sound like a hater when you got drafted. It's what you sounded like on your podcast. What articles are reporting. Like I mean, that just
call it like I see it.
Yeah, like that's just kind of what it is.
Great. We know his big bruh. We'll call that deference on him. We good at the streets over here.
Yeah. Not your little homies. Where is give me the shout out for the shirt. Again, these shirts crucial. But give me Justin, who is the
brother's name is Kima Washington, Brand Dilly Creative Group, based out of Raleigh, North Carolina.
There we go.
Business that makes any type of thing you want, from shirts to pens to golf balls to golf tees to anything your business needs to give away. Shout out to 97.3. He can make all your shirts for Brewer Lollapalooza. So hit him up, Tim Scott. Got started.
Good deal. Yeah, no, and we'll more information on the way. Also, listen, if you guys are obviously Brewers fans, Cream City Curveball doing an excellent job posting and putting out videos before every game. So again, want to appreciate you, Jeff Orlowski, Chris King, for continuing that effort. We'll be on. I'm gonna jump on one of these. Check out these games and jump on them. But again, if you need anything you need for baseball, your baseball coverage, the Cream City Curveball comes out. Make sure you're subscribed to the Cream City Crossover, and make sure you got the alerts on so you get all the videos from the Cream City Curveball and all those good takes and everything like that. Let's see. Want to thank you if you watch on Twitter, if you watch on YouTube. Want to thank our sponsor tonight, Curtis Bar and Grill, out there in Pewaukee, Wisconsin, Lakeview Boulevard. Head on out there, enjoy yourselves, have a good time, good food, good eats, good drinks. Tell them the Guru sent you, tell them the Cream City Crossover sent you. Curtis Bar, proud sponsor of the Cream City Crossover. Yeah, man, that's it. Let's go get another win. Let's keep playing hard. Let's finish the series, man. Let's do this thing. Because again, I feel the momentum, man, and I want to keep it rolling. 117, 101, Bucks win, 2-1 series. Indiana's up. We can tie this thing. Tish says Bucks Nation, Bucks in 6. Thank you if you send a super chat as well. Thank you for just being in the chat. We appreciate it as always. Subscribe, all that good stuff to the Cream City Crossover. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend about the Cream City Crossover. It is the best post-game show in all of the land for your Milwaukee Bucks. That's it. That's all I got. This has been a Cream City Media Group production from the Guru Customer.
JT.
Justin.
Back on Sunday. We'll see you then. If I am enemies, only because I dare to tell you the truth. Don't take no wood nickels. Courage.